I'm the computer. Stop all the downloading. All right. So, we're going to jump into space news now. Yeah. Fun. Satisfactory's fun. We'll, I don't know. Let's play it again tomorrow. Yeah? Same time tomorrow? But we still got plenty of stream left. I'm going to start up space news now. And we're going to go from there. Help computer. I don't know nothing about computers. My mom got one. Put a couple games on it. Alright, I'm going to take 15. I'm going to go grab something to eat. And can use the sign for notes now. Yeah, empty. I don't have them unlocked yet, but yeah, we can. Alright, be back in a moment. And then we'll start space news. See you in a second.
Was a time when a meteor flashing through the sky struck man with a deep sense of wonder. Even today, man's reaction to a meteoric display is likely to jam the switchboards with reports of imminent invasion from space. But as heirs to the knowledge, disciplines, and apparatus of the scientific revolution, we are familiar with, and at least partially understand, the meteoric phenomena. A meteoroid, traveling in space outside our atmosphere, remains unseen by man, for the molecules in space are so dispersed that collision with them causes no visible effect. If its trajectory traverses the Earth's atmosphere, it becomes a meteor. Here it begins to collide with more molecules. These collisions become more and more frequent as the meteor descends into the denser air of lower altitudes, causing it to decelerate. Each collision converts some of the energy of motion into heat energy, and the heat continues to increase until the meteor itself becomes incandescent, scribing its visible path through the night sky. Destroyed in the atmosphere by this heating, most meteors present no danger to man. Now and then, one is large enough to survive its passage through the atmosphere to Earth. It is then called a meteorite, and some are very large indeed. Dr. Peter Parameter became interested in meteors early in his career, and once wrote a paper titled,
"A thermokinetic description of bodies in passage through a plastic medium of nonlinear density at random velocities and angles, which could be just about summed up with this equation."
With this equation, his fellow scientists and designers are able to explain the effects of atmospheric penetration on differing bodies, those with different ballistic coefficients, at various velocities and angles. For example, if two bodies of different weights enter the Earth's atmosphere with the same velocity and entry angle, both the heavy body and the light one will begin to heat up at the same time. But impacts of air molecules slow the light body sooner. This deceleration of the light body occurs at higher altitudes, while the heavier, more energetic body penetrates deeper before it reaches peak deceleration. The total amount of heat generated by the lighter one is less than that generated by the heavy one, whose larger mass gives it greater kinetic energy. Two identical bodies with the same velocity entering the atmosphere at different angles also will decelerate at different rates. The steeper angle causes a more rapid encounter with the dense air, resulting in more abrupt deceleration. The total heat generated will be the same for both bodies, but peak heating will be less for the shallow entry. With identical meteors entering at the same angle but with different velocities, the faster meteor, under heavier bombardment by air molecules, will have greater deceleration, generating more heat and at a higher rate. But Dr. Parameter is no longer merely an observer interested in understanding the phenomena of meteors. A meteor is just an aimless traveler in space. Doc finds himself now involved in designs with a purpose and an aim. A missile has a target, and a spacecraft has a destination, a journey's end. To these, Doc applies his knowledge. He knows natural phenomena, both of aimless meteor and aimed missile. He knows that as they traverse the atmosphere, they heat up. If the heating or deceleration of a vehicle is excessive, the mission is threatened. Man cannot change the laws of nature, so he must use his knowledge to work within those laws. Doc Parameter knows that the two natural enemies to successful atmospheric penetration are deceleration and heat. He can fight these enemies on two possible fronts. First, on the design front, by modifying the vehicle's shape and size relative to its weight. In other words, its ballistic coefficient. And second, on the program front, by altering the vehicle's trajectory, its velocity, its attitude, and its angle of entry into the Earth's atmosphere. Dr. Parameter is now ready to use his technology to plan a successful re-entry for an ICBM warhead. He knows that of the two natural enemies, deceleration and heat, high deceleration is not a problem with a warhead, but too much heat could destroy it. He first surveys the project on the program front. He knows that the re-entry velocities and angles are essentially set by the mission. But to reduce heat load, the velocity of the re-entry vehicle could theoretically be reduced by firing a retro rocket. On investigation, he finds that in order to decrease re-entry velocities sufficiently by this method, a retro thrust system would be required weighing many times the weight of the warhead. This method is out. He next considers the possibility of changing the re-entry angle. He knows that a shallow angle will lessen the peak heat load by stretching the heating over a longer period of time. But the total heat generated will be the same either way, and the vehicle could absorb even more heat during this longer re-entry. Furthermore, a shallow re-entry angle has other serious drawbacks. First, a shallow angle impairs accuracy by deflection in the atmosphere. Second, it affords more time for enemy interception. A steep re-entry improves the missile's chances of avoiding interception and of reaching its target with minimum atmospheric deflection. In this case, altering the program is not the answer to the heat problem. Dr. Parameter must attack the problem of heat on the design front. Logic would seem to indicate that fast travel requires a streamlined shape to slice its way through the air. At subsonic velocities, this is true. But at supersonic speeds, the moving vehicle displaces air molecules which bounce off, forming a shock wave. As speed increases, the shock wave becomes more severe and heating increases. An ICBM will have a free-fall re-entry speed in excess of 23,000 feet per second. At this speed, the heat of molecular collision and friction, shearing of air molecules, is concentrated in a narrow zone along the surface of a streamlined vehicle. The heat generated may cause the temperature to exceed 15,000 degrees Fahrenheit. To combat this terrific heat, Dr. Parameter designs instead a re-entry vehicle with a blunt frontal area. The blunt shape creates its shock wave somewhat ahead of the vehicle. This occurs because the atmospheric molecules colliding with its frontal surface bounce back and intercept others coming in, setting up a kind of picket line in advance of the warhead. The peak heat is generated in this area away from the surface of the vehicle. Although the blunt shape decreases the peak heating of the warhead to half that of the streamlined shape, it will still heat up to 7,000 degrees Fahrenheit, much too hot for unprotected warhead structures. To further reduce heating, Dr. Parameter must find other techniques in addition to the blunt shape. His first solution is the heat sink. Use the blunt design and add a mass of heat-conducting metal large enough to absorb most of the heat generated during re-entry without melting before impact. It works, but he is not yet satisfied. The weight of the heat sink displaces more than 1/4 of the payload. Furthermore, the blunt design slows the missile, keeping it in the atmosphere a longer time, making it less accurate and easier to intercept. For the greatest accuracy and shortest time in the atmosphere, Doc knows that the streamlined shape is the best, but the heat sink cannot absorb and distribute the sudden extreme heat generated during the re-entry of a streamlined vehicle. Doc reasons,
If the heat cannot be absorbed, why not eject it as fast as it's generated?
the answer is ablation.
Ablation! Coat the frontal surface of the streamlined missile with layers of ablative material composed of fibers, resins, and ceramics.
This ablative coating protects the missile from the extreme heat in several ways. It is a poor heat conductor. Its surface gradually melts away, taking heat with it, and its vapor forms a thin insulating layer, deflecting some of the heat from the surface. The ablative principle combats the heat problem effectively and permits steeper re-entry angles while adding a minimum of weight. The streamlined missile, with its increased speed, affords the least possibility of interception and the greatest accuracy. It does produce a huge deceleration factor approaching 150 Gs. Fortunately, this poses no threat to a warhead. But for manned or other recovery missions, the G-load is a most important factor. For manned re-entry, this force should be held below 10 Gs. A shallow re-entry angle of about 1 to 5 degrees is the simple answer. The shallower the angle, the less the G-load. But this will be sustained over a longer period of time. This means a longer time at high speed through the friction of the atmosphere. Let's take a moment to see why this is not desirable. Dr. Parameter?
Thank you. Gentlemen, we have here a kettle of water. Heathcliff, we can use you in this experiment.
Oh boy, an experiment.
Thank you, sir. Now, if we may have another kettle of water and your stand-in. Thank you. Now we'll proceed with the experiment.
Experiment?
We'll add the same amount of fuel under each kettle, but alter the form of the fuel under one kettle to make it burn faster. We ignite both at the same time and compare the results. Splendid. I'd like to point out that the fast-burning fuel, although reaching its intensity quickly, exhausted itself quickly. The heat absorbed was negligible. The slow-burning fuel, on the other hand, gradually increases in intensity. It will generate the same total heat load, but over a longer period of time, and you'll notice more heat is absorbed. Thank you, Heathcliff.
Thank you, Dr. Parameter. So although the peak heat generated in the shallow re-entry is less, the capsule is in the heating regime for a longer time, and without the utmost protection would absorb an intolerable amount of heat. For manned re-entry, Dr. Parameter overcomes the deceleration enemy through program with the shallow angle, but he must combat heat on the design front. A blunt shape to cause a detached shock wave, a picket line against heat, and ablative materials for additional heat control. The doc is confident his new design will fulfill the requirements. Now to try it out. He wants low peak deceleration, so the shallow re-entry path is mandatory. This brings him down safely, if a little off target. To achieve some control and accuracy as well as safety, Dr. Parameter has been working on other design concepts, particularly shapes that produce lift. He knows that a ballistic missile is designed and programmed to hit a particular point on the Earth's surface. A manned ballistic vehicle with the same objective is much less accurate due to its design and long, shallow penetration. But a lifting vehicle, which is capable of descending at a still more shallow angle and with an extremely low deceleration rate, is able to change direction. This control gives it wide selectivity of landing sites within a large footprint area. For the shortest range within the footprint, the vehicle is pulled up into a maximum lift attitude at re-entry. This induces maximum drag, causing a steeper, more abrupt descent. For the longest possible range, the vehicle must assume the attitude of maximum lift over drag ratio. This footprint, huge at first, shrinks gradually as the vehicle descends. Dr. Parameter, while considering the advantages of lifting vehicles, is also aware of their drawbacks. First, the lifting structure itself imposes weight penalties, which compete with the all-important matter of payload. Then, lifting vehicles may also spend up to 20 minutes in the heat regime, and being more streamlined, they require a still more complex heat protection system, competing still further with payload. Dr. Parameter, with his associates, has studied the strategy of atmospheric penetration. He knows its natural enemies, deceleration and heat, and has met them on the two fronts of program and design. He has accomplished important objectives. For the intercontinental ballistic missile, the objectives are rapid atmospheric penetration and accuracy. The warhead's natural enemy is sudden, intense heat. Its program? High velocity, steep re-entry. Its design, streamlined with ablation to combat sudden heat. For a manned or other recovery mission, the objectives are, first of all, safety, and then control. The mission's natural enemies, high deceleration, sustained heat. Its program, shallow re-entry for low deceleration. The vehicle's design, blunt, yet with control capabilities, a maneuverable lifting shape. The resulting long duration within the heat regime exacts a weight penalty because a complex heat protection system is needed. There will always be problems to solve. Dr. Parameter has worked out successful compromises so far, but he is still puzzling, still exploring. He plots his graphs, his curves, and flings them boldly into space. But he knows that we have barely gotten our little toe into space, and he constantly seeks to improve that toehold. He must hold to the possible, yet he constantly works along its impossible edges. He has opened the way for man's safe re-entry into the Earth's atmosphere. Journey's end for space travel.
We have been given the scientific knowledge, the technical ability, and the materials to pursue the exploration of the universe. To ignore these great resources would be a corruption of a God-given ability.
10, 9, ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running.
Again? Again? It. I mean, alright.
We have been given the scientific knowledge, the technical ability, and the materials to pursue the exploration of the universe. To ignore these great resources would be a corruption of a God-given ability.
10, 9, ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running.
It's up there, Popo. It's the heaviest. Oh, that looks like fun. That's nice. A shuttle launch next? Is this how we're just gonna start space news from now on? Alright, I mean, okay. I don't mind starting space news like this. Last, what's up, Tessa? What we need to do is have a 10-ish minute NASA documentary followed by rocket shuttle launch every Fagizzy 20 or so comedy. Yeah. I want the Beren launch, but the Beren launch doesn't give you the sounds that you want, and there's not that much good footage of it around. Alright, let's see. There is footage here. Here, look. Here, check it out. I don't know where this footage is coming from, though. Oh. Hi. Oh. It's not looking too good for Independence's big block. Shame. That's alright. Derek will make another one. I don't hate what's going on here. Yeah, you don't really realize the scale until you see the little specks moving around down here of people. All right. What year is this? 1988. Let her down. There you go. Crew access arm and the crew escape system there. Yeah, see, that's the crew escape system. It's literally a roller coaster. Wow. All right. Yeah, Savvy. This is the best I can do. There might be some launch footage of this somewhere in here. Let's take a look. Yeah, here we go. There we go.
Куда?
Сюда не надо.
I don't hate that. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Yeah, I don't hate that. Yeah, that's pretty good. We got more footage in here? Oh, yes, please. The engineering footage. Oh, come on, give me the power. Come on. No, yeah, okay. Bro! Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I like that. Fly, baby, fly! Oh, that thing's legit, dude. Yeah, we don't have any sound. There's no sound for this engineering footage, which is a shame. It would sound something like that Saturn V footage. Yeet! There we go. Man, that sucks that the clouds were low that day. Bro. Yo. Oh my goodness. Because that's what it looked like above the damn clouds. Oh, yeah. Oh, guy lost it. Oh, there it is. We never got to see separation. We never got to see the damn thing work. Damn it. There's footage of Buran on orbit.
Сейчас с борта орбитального корабля «Буран» практически мы получаем такое же изображение, такую же картинку телевизионную, какой мы получаем во время...
Let's get to the other stuff here. It would have been hard to do with parachutes, and the Energia core stage, nah. They had the way the parachutes are going to work is they were going to have shock absorbers built into the boosters. That's why these boosters here, if you go back and look, see these boosters have all this stuff attached to the sides? There's like these boxes and squares. They were going to have deployable landing legs, and they were going to parachute down kind of sideways, and then come down and land. That was the plan, at least, but it never happened. Dash cam footage. No one's flying that thing right now, guys. It's flying itself. No, it had a digital computer in it, Pythos. The systems were good enough for automated approach and landing in '88. Yeah? She's flying right at us. Yeah, there's nobody aboard that thing. It flew by itself. And it landed in a crosswind. You really see it when they have the runway cameras here in a second. 10 degrees altitude, I see it's charred. It went into the clouds. Yeah, watch this. This is the SLF in Baikonur. That runway, they still use it. That they use it to land payloads at Baikonur. Look at this. Look at this, all by itself. It's like there's nobody on board. This is the pilot's view. This camera is where the pilot should be. Now look at it. Look at where it is as opposed to the runway center line. And look at the center line go across the screen. This thing landed in a hell of a crosswind. See the center line moving slightly to the right? It came in sideways. Hey, my pick. I mean, dude, like, I love the space shuttle, but that's pretty damn impressive. Like, I can't sit here and say that that's not impressive. That is that's pretty damn impressive to do. That's not easy. That wouldn't have been easy to do in 1988. Like, it's 33 years ago, guys. That wouldn't have been easy. No way. That would have been hard to do. I mean, that would be difficult to do nowadays. I mean, the X-37B does it, but look at this thing. Look. Come on. Is the runway at KSP going to be used for anything? Dream Chaser? Come on, baby. Alex, I'll say it once, I'll say it again. This is why I respect the hell out of the Russian program. They know what they're doing. And I get it. This isn't the Russian program still. It doesn't mean that the personnel just changed, you know what I mean? The Russians know what they're doing in space. Their path to space is paved in blood, just like the US is. Alright? They know what they're doing. That's freaking damn impressive, dude. I mean, my pick, this thing landed itself. The fricker landed itself, all right? There's nobody on board. Like I said, that's pretty damn impressive, dude. Oh, look at the nosedive. Look at the nosedive. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, the big boy MiGs. I friggin' wish, BY. That's what we should have done with the shuttle. In fact, the shuttle in Buran should have kept flying. The hell with the other rockets. Should have just kept this. You'll see the Foxbat again, don't worry. Not bad for a computer. Think you could do it with cows? No. Yo. Look at this guy. He's got the gear down with the engines goosed at like 10 degrees up angle of attack. That should tell you how crappy the Buran flies, just like the space shuttle. It's the same shape. Yeah, look at it. You know he's goosing the engines because of the exhaust. Yeah, it's pretty good, Tessa. It's pretty damn impressive, you know. Credit where credit is due. There's the pad that it launched from. I like that wording. The shuttle ran out of time. Buran ran out of country. Yeah, that's a good way to say that. Was this recent? This was 1988, Ma. Oh, yep. See, guy went around. There you go. Any reason you don't use the slowing drugs? You don't really need to. Show us the concept video for Energia 2. Yeah, there's another video here. Oh, baby. Hello. Come on. Come on. You guys see, shuttles are like Stigs, okay? There's the Stig's American cousin, there's the Stig's Russian cousin. It's not the shuttle. It's the shuttle's Russian cousin. Yep. It is the one that got squished, unfortunately. Hey, guy, what's up? Now, there's a little bit of footage here that they should show at the end of the tailwind, but actually, the parachutes. Look at the parachutes. You can see the crosswind just from those chutes. She's outgassing. She outgasses same spot, almost the same spot as the shuttle. Interesting. They're venting the LOX from the tanks right there. Did that actually go into space? November 15th, 1988, Dunfield. Yeah, the Russians put their shuttle into space. with nobody aboard. It flew and landed by itself. The Buran has no main engines. It just has the Ohms thrusters. But the Russians were using Karoloks on their thrusters, if I'm remembering right. Pretty good. It's a big RC airplane, indeed. We gotta get Buria back. Can I go punch Darren Musa in the face, please? Like I said, my big, it's pretty friggin' impressive, dude. Like, for 1988, that's... You gotta give credit where credit is due. That's pretty cool. Real talk, was Buran actually a better shuttle than the shuttle? I don't know, man. I think that Energia is a better lifter, but the shuttle is a better shuttle. If I had my way, what I would do is I'd take the external tank, the US external tank, so the orange tank and the American space shuttle, and put Zenit boosters on the sides. That's what I would do. If I had my way, that's how I would do it. But yep, autopilot from orbit, Dunfield, which is pretty impressive. Why didn't NASA use computers for their shuttle? They did, Swishio. NASA never wanted people to remotely land it. It could remotely land. It could do it. You'd have to hotwire the thing. That's why. I like the way, guys, personally, like, and I'm not just saying this because the shuttle is American. I like bringing my upper stage engines back. I like that the shuttle brought its engines back. The Russians had an interesting design, and it was a paper rocket. It never got off the ground, but it's called Uragan, and it was interesting to say the least. So basically, they would have turned the core stage into just a big, gigantic shuttle. Like this. Core stage would just be one big, gigantic shuttle orbiter with a big hollow fairing at the front like this. Now, whether this thing would have worked or not, I don't know. It's hard to say. So, an Atlas V. I mean, reverse engineering a space shuttle is pretty damn impressive. What's this, Savvy? Oh, this is Hayes Gray Arts Energy 2 video. Yeah, this is coming from Hayes Gray. Yeah, Hayes did a fantastic job here. Huh. I don't know, man. Watch what the Zenit boosters were designed to do. Watch, ready? I'm muted just because. You want to see the whole video. Yeah. Watch this. Whoop. Yep, they're flyback boosters. Yeah, that was the idea. That's what they kind of wanted to do. It's a pretty awesome idea. It would have been cool to see 4 of these things coming back down and landing. Yeah, it would have been pretty damn impressive. They wanted to. That was the idea. I mean, there's nothing saying you can't do this. Flyback boosters are a good idea. Nobody does them, though. Because first stage dry mass is really, 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 really important. So the less stuff you put on your first stage, the better. I freaking wish, man. Yeah, Barak. The snoot, it droops. Yep. Yep, it opens up. Yeah, reusable fairing. And then... Oh, they didn't have that thing coming back down. Huh. Interesting. No, the landing boosters. No. No, the snoot doesn't droop on those. That's just the nose cone, dude. That's just the nose cone. Anyway. So, space news, huh? The snoot is pre-drooped. Yeah. Pre-droop snoot. What's that, Vasya? Let me see. Let's see. NASA orders rare medical delay in launch of SpaceX mission to the space station. Uh-oh. Yeah, that's right. Crew 3 got pushed again. It's the 6th into the 7th. NASA announced Monday a rare health-related delay in its SpaceX rocket launch of 4 astronauts to the ISS. Second postponement of the mission in a week, citing an unspecified medical issue with one of the crew. It's not a medical emergency and not related to COVID-19. Yeah. Someone had the gas station sushi, quite literally. Yeah, it was something stupid like that. Don't they have a backup crew for these medical issues? For a major medical issue, Switchio. Yeah, not a minor one. Literally, this is something like an astronaut stubbed their toe or something. I'm serious. It's about that trivial. I'm all out of jelly beans. Or cut their fingers or something. Just something. Yeah. Oh, Tory talks. Very nice. And Gateway to Mars in 1080p. What is this? Oh, yeah. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. So, yeah, guys, Crew 3 got pushed out a little bit. Not that it's really not. It's just something small. This happens. Like I said, somebody probably stubbed their toe or something. It's just something. It's always something small like that. Whatever, will take like a couple of days for them to recover. So you got to think like all the things you could do that you could be fine in another couple of days. Like a stubbed toe or a twisted ankle or something stupid like that. Well, not stupid, but you get the idea. A hangnail, yep. Yep. Stuff happens, guys. It happened plenty of times during the shuttle program. Anyway, let's hear some Tory talks here. ULA is posting some pretty cool infographic videos. Let's see what we got from the cowboy astronaut millionaire.
Hi, this is Tori. I'm standing here at Space Launch Complex 41, home of the mighty Atlas. Behind me is the giant Atlas 541, the one we like to call the Dominator, our second most powerful Atlas that is poised to lift the Mars 2020 Perseverance spacecraft all the way out to Mars. I'm here also underneath our brand new Vulcan liquid oxygen tank, and I'm in front of our upgraded water system because Vulcan will be so much more powerful that it needs even more acoustic water suppression. And I'm here to answer one of the most common questions we're seeing right now on social media is, why does this tiny little spacecraft, it's a metric ton class, it's not that large, why is it underneath our giant largest fairing in the 5-meter configuration? And the answer is speed. With this tiny spacecraft, we still need a lot of energy to reach out all the way to Mars. We've got to accelerate this spacecraft to over 26,000 miles per hour. And to do that, we need the 4 solids. So in addition to the 860,000 pounds of thrust coming out of the center core, we've added 4 solids that at ignition at liftoff will each generate almost 350,000 pounds more thrust. 2.3 million pounds total underneath a small spacecraft. And so with all of that acceleration and all of those G loads, the ultra-thin, high-performance balloon tanks of the Centaur can't withstand that G-force. And so we use the 5-meter fairing because it has a structure incorporated into it to support the spacecraft and take those loads out and around the Centaur and attach them back into the rocket. So it's all about speed.
Doesn't say anything new, but we saw Vulcan's pads, and no, this isn't. I mean, this was filmed a little while ago, but it was posted yesterday, dudes. Yeah, that's cool. What's the second Tory talk? Let's see. Tory talks.
Hi, I'm Tory Bruno.
And welcome
I'm
to
at
my
the
crib.
Historic Space Launch Complex 41, home of the amazing Atlas rocket, and soon to be home of the Vulcan Centaur rocket as well. And this is a very special day because right now we have an Atlas on the pad carrying the Solar Orbiter probe that will return to the Sun for even more exciting science. I am standing at a very unique vantage point. I am on top of the main liquid oxygen storage tank. This holds 465,000 gallons or 2 million liters of ice-cold liquid oxygen. It is chilled to minus 180 degrees C or nearly minus 300 degrees Fahrenheit. So a pretty special place to be standing with a great view of the rocket. Now, Solar Orbiter is a really interesting mission. We're going to launch it here on this Atlas with a very precise trajectory, injecting it with an exact amount of energy, something we call C3, the characteristic energy, in this case 30.05, to send it on a perfect trajectory away from the Earth, escaping Earth's gravity well, and then doing gravity assists for several years with Venus and the Earth gradually pulling its closest point, its perihelion, inside Mercury's orbit to get a great view of the Sun, while lifting its inclination so that it will actually see, really for the first time ever, a direct view of the solar poles. So really exciting science, and a great complement to the Parker Solar Probe that we launched in 2018 on a ULA Delta IV Heavy rocket. Now, I get a lot of questions about the unique configuration of this Atlas. This is the one we call the slider, the 411. It has a single SRB, and the combination of that liquid core with that single SRB together give exactly the right amount of thrust. 5.3 million newtons or 1.2 million pounds of thrust to put Solar Orbiter on that exact trajectory. Now, the thing that I think always throws people is, gosh, the rocket looks so asymmetric. There's the center core with its liquid rocket engines, and then there's this big solid hanging off the side. How do you control and steer it? Well, two things. First, we have a fixed nozzle on that solid rocket motor that is canted at an angle so that its thrust vector passes through the average center of gravity of the rocket. So it has very little moment, much less than you would think if it were just, say, for example, pointing straight down. And then in addition to that, The RD-180 engines underneath the Atlas have a tremendous amount of thrust vectoring, what we call control authority, that can steer through any asymmetries that are left over as the center of gravity moves on that rocket. Even though the nozzle is fixed, it moves because the rocket is 90%, greater than 90% propellant. It is getting lighter and lighter when it flies, and the center of gravity is actually moving. So we can steer through all of that and provide this very precise trajectory. Well, I hope that was interesting to everybody.
Yep.
And now I've got to get back to work because I'm up here to do my job.
What a Chad. What a Chad that guy is. What a Chad. I'm up here to do my job. Dude, what a Chad. Somebody should put that over. Put it to the rap, dude. Oh, man. That's good, dude. Hi, my name's Tori Bruno. Speed is my business. Yep. All right, let's see what this is. Let's see what this is about here. Careful, they're close to having a thermal curtain failure. This better be the same scale as the Saturn V. Your countryman disagrees with you, Tessa. No. No, please don't be that. Please don't be that. Please. Please don't be that. I will be very upset. Also, just on a side note, I watched the trailer for Moonfall. Yep. Anybody watched that? Anybody watched the trailer for Moonfall? It's a shame, Savvy. What the bro. Oh my god. Dude, it's a popcorn flick. It's a popcorn flick. Yep. It's a popcorn flick. Let's just they take Endeavor out of the museum and they launch it from Slick 6. from Slick 6. The shuttle still flies in my heart, Lunprod, okay? With a pod as a payload. Now, I don't mind the pod as a payload idea. That's a good idea. Any space movie recommendation? The Martian. Martian's good. A Flooded. Slick 6. Oh, neat, Tars. That's cool. Apollo 11 is good. Interstellar is good, but I like October Sky. But October Sky isn't really a... it's not really a space movie per se, but Homer Hickam is one of my personal heroes. In my world, Kai-Tak is still open. All right. Okay. Yep. It would take like 6 shuttle launches to get a moon mission set up. Well, at least they're not sending the shuttle to the moon, okay? At least they're not doing that. Independence update. Damaged piston, bent valves, and possible valve seat issue on another cylinder. It had a twisted rocker as well. Ooh. Yeah, that thing kind of ate itself. Yeah, oh well, it's a Chevy. It happens. Is it bad if I think the trailer for the Lightyear movie looks good? Yeah. Okay. Alright. Okay, flying. That's good. Well, hope you feel better. Martian is my personal favorite book. I'm with you on that one. Endeavor, you know, with the fake RS-25s. Yeah. Technically, the moon is crashing into Earth, so the shuttle could make it to lunar or... Alright, that's enough. Here, look at this. Okay, we're changing the subject. Here. So cool! Oh, it's so cool! Wind hop! Can we just this part again? This next part. Oh, that's so cool. That's so sick. Goosebumps. Bro! this thing's gonna be so ridiculous. Yeah, for sure. Oh man, never noticed before, but on that very first on the flap shot, you can actually see some rust building up on the flap. Yeah. Link, please. Sure, man, I got you. Can I, dude? I'm sorry. That shot, that like vertigo shot of it flying through its own exhaust. This one right here, that shot is so clutch. I'm sorry. I don't know why it gets me fired up. This next one. Bro, let's go! That's awesome! Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, dude, I'm with you on that one. That still looks so strange to me. I'm telling you. What was it? SN8. Hang on. The SN8 one was still nuts to me. This just looks so wrong. But I mean, like, once again, I'm not saying it's fake or anything. Like, I know what it's doing. Oh, that is so cool. That's so legit, man. I love it. I love it so much. It's so cool. Oh, oh man. Yeah, Singularity. That's so cool. Oh my goodness, it freaking did it. I still can't believe it did that on the first try. Yeah, I mean, it didn't land. It didn't land, but this shot, though. Oh, frick you. That's so cool. I'm sorry, I'm nerding out. Oh, that's so legit. No! That's so awesome. I can't, dude, can you believe that? It seems like a fever dream, dude, but man, that's so cool. SN8, this was last year. Yeah, yeah. Oh my goodness. Dude. They picked up 8, 9, 10, and 11. They're still picking up pieces of 11. Boop! Oh. Oh my goodness. Here, let's just one more time here. I know, Alex, it's pretty hardcore, man. Yeah, right, Mile? It's pretty awesome, bro. That's so legit, dude. What the hell? What the hell? Go, baby! that being said, let's I think it's time to go see some Starship footage from our buddies over at NASA Spaceflight. Let's see what's up. We got 3 videos, dudes. All right, let's take a look. I know, Nick. It is pretty cool. Once again, this footage is coming from our buddies over at NASA Spaceflight. Mary took this footage, and then Nick, I think, has some footage in this one as well. So make sure you go over to NASA Spaceflight. Make sure you subscribe over there. Support those guys. Buy a shirt or something. Because they basically say, yeah, you can look at everything over here and analyze all the footage all you want. I'm like, all right, thank you. I don't know why you're letting me do it, but I appreciate it. Shoot. SN8 had this energy. Let me see. Yeah, Adama maneuver, exactly. No, I got it, Alex, yeah. There's the new crane parts. SpaceX just bought their own crane. Elon, we need this crane to make a bridge. Fine, I'll just buy my own crane. It's painted black with X's on it. Except for that one guy. Yeah, that one guy got a stern talking to. Serious. Not for me. I bought the bank, yeah, right? Yeah, MotoKid, it is a good show. Hey, dude, how much will your stream go on for? Steam, what time is it? 5? We got easily another 5 hours of stream. Easily. I do long streams. I believe in hard work. Hey, Yusuf, what's going on? Yeah, Thomas, I'm getting to it. I got plenty of water. They should call the new crane Jeff. You know what? That's a good name. Yeah. Not much. How is the truck? Which one, Yusuf? Hide your bad boys. I'll be honest, I haven't been working on Tough Enough because it's been raining a lot. I have no indoor shop space. The 59 is inside. We have official Starship blueprints. Oh. That hoodie is sick. I want it. So, yeah, I haven't been working on it. The 97, yeah. Haven't been working on it. It's been stored for about a week and a half because because of the rain. We had a rainstorm that just kind of sat over New England, Yusuf. It's called a nor'easter, or if you're from here, it's called a nor'easter. So yeah, I haven't really worked on it much. It's stored though. RCS vents near the lift. Let me see cooking. Yep, there's your reaction control systems. Yeah, I'm kind of saving up some cash, dude. There's a couple of things. I really want to redo the fuel system. Not redo it, but I want to get the second tank. I want to put the second tank back in. Got to get the fuel neck all figured out. And then I want a tonneau cover as well. All of that is going to cost about $800. So give me some time to get everything all situated, because I want a tonneau cover. Something that'll cover up the pickup bed so I could just basically make the pickup bed into a big trunk. Or you could but it's a tonneau cover that can actually move up like this, so you could take it off real quick. Also, a Holly Terminator. Nah, I'm not going to... Let's get the truck back to 100%, and then we'll start going and messing with it. I'm just trying to fix all the stuff that was taken off from when Hoonigan had it. So... I never knew how to pronounce that word. Noaista. So, yeah, we'll, we'll get everything fixed with Tough Enough soon. I'll talk more about trucks at the end of Space News, guys. There's some stuff I want to show you. So you're trying to dehoon the truck. I wouldn't say dehoon it just yet. LMC is a good resource. Oh, yeah. No. Yeah. Be right back. Oh, yeah. I buy a lot of stuff from them, Broken. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I got stuff for the 59 and for the 97. I have both catalogs, man. I'm so screwed. I love these parts catalogs, dude. I can't believe how many... Okay, there are parts for the 59. There are parts, but there's not so much. There's more parts for the 4th gen, right? Dude, there is an endless supply of parts for the 9th gen. You said you had a 94 Bronco, so you know. You got this same catalog, dude. Oh my goodness. There is an endless supply of stuff. You could build the truck any way you want because they made so many of these things. Need the service manuals? I might know a guy. I don't think so because, Synerd, I'm going to take most of that stuff off. Airnock's right. I'm going to put a better computer in the truck. But, guys, we can talk about that more after we're done with Starship. But, yeah, I have the manuals, dude. I love LMC. Endless? I doubt that. Dunpeel, we'll get back to them putting the thing together. Dude, it's not endless. All right? Obviously, that's a figure of speech, right? But here, look. The 9th generation alone, like that, they made 800,000 of these trucks from 93 to 97. 800,000. And these parts are compatible with trucks going all the way back to 1980. They never changed it. Ford never changed it. They only changed the systems. But the body panels and everything, all interchangeable. They made 800,000. That's insane. That's insane. Dude, I will never run out of parts. You'll never run out. Not for like 50 years. You'll never run out of parts. There's bajillions of them everywhere. Yeah, the truck business is big in the United States, guys. What do you want? Yes, but one electric swap. I'm not electric swapping the 97. No, that's what the 59 is for. We should put an illuminator, the illuminator in the 59. That's kind of what I was thinking. But here, let's get back into Starship stuff. We'll talk more about trucks in a second. I was back here. Let's go. Yeah, I know, Tessa. It sucks. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly, Hellfish. Yeah, 3rd gens. 3rd gens are cool, man. I like 3rd gens a lot. You have a service manual for a 79 F100 through F350. No, Alex, never. Oh, interesting. You gonna cover some SEMA news these couple of days? I kind of wanted to go, Rex, but yeah. Broncos were available in dual fuel for fleets. Oh, that's so cool. You know what I was thinking about, Bravo? You know how the Bronco has the swing gate for the spare tire? I was thinking about seeing if we could figure out a way to jimmy that thing on to the bed of the truck. I'm not sure if it's the same. It might work. Like, that would be pretty freaking cool, you know? How about getting like a Bronco bed cap, right? And putting the Bronco on tough enough, right? Taking a Bronco bed cap, cutting it, right? And then putting it on the truck and then making a long bed Bronco. I'm sure someone's done that somewhere. It'd probably be better to start with a Bronco and cut it up, but freaking long bed Bronco? A two-door long bed Bronco, that would be sick. Oh, that would be cool. I wish. Oh, how sick would that actually be? A two-door long bed. It would look like a two-door Chevy Suburban. That would be sick. I wouldn't do that to Tough Enough, though, but I'd do that to another truck. Is 281 horsepower, 317 enough for the 59? It's more than what it has now. Yes, I nerd, I'm with you. Oh, jeez, Razzle. Yikes. Alright, so SpaceX is setting up the, they're setting up Jeff here. Crane. Right? Right, Panda Man? Yeah. It would probably be better. It would probably be better, and people have done this. Here, I'll show you. Ford, OBS, Quad, Cab, Bronco. People have done it. It's been done before. They take, they take a quad cab and then they take the Bronco back and they hook it in and they basically make a Ford Suburban. It's because these things are built built like a Lego. These trucks are built like a Lego, so that Ford could make a bunch of different trucks, right? So they take one of these things, right? That's an extended cab. They take one of those, the quad cab with the extended, right? And then they just make it into the Bronco. That's cool, man. I think that's really neat. I don't want to do that with mine, though. No way. Not with Tough Enough. I'm talking about taking this tan part and making the tan part go all the way to there. Basically grafting a Bronco back onto a long bed, because that's the same chassis as my truck, only it's just the long bed. There's doors, which is cool. But yeah, we'll get back into Starship, man. I'm telling you, man, those things are sick. You can do so much stuff with those trucks. Go wing doors. Yep. Or you could try putting a 2JZ or an RB26 in one of them. Not enough power. Not enough power, dude. And it's not that, actually, not enough power isn't the right way to say it, Tessa. Not enough torque. A 2J wouldn't be able to turn that 1025 rear end. No way. It's an F250. It's not an F150. F150? Oh, absolutely. Hoonigan actually did that. They took an F150 and put a 2J in it. I was sitting next to it when I was working on Tough Enough. It is a really awesome mod. Does your truck have an E4OD transmission? ZF547, dude. It's a 5-speed. That's why I love it. That's why that truck is sick, dude. It's got this huge freaking lever in it, man. Yeah. It's a parts bin truck, Bravo. They made it in Cuautitlan, Mexico, with the leftover OBS parts. It's actually a 97, believe it or not. Very rare. Well, not very rare, but it's a 97 F250 HD. They made it out of spare F350 and spare F250 parts. It's got an F250 front end, but it's got an F350 rear axle. I got a 1025 with 8 lugs, with 410 gears in it. 410 gears out back. I have an F350 transmission with an F250 engine. Yeah, it's just a parts bin. And before you say, you're full of crap, dude. No. The leaf spring shackles on the frame say F350 on them. The casting has F350 on it. Yep. Oh yeah. It's a cool truck, man. That's why I love that thing. Yeah, Warder, exactly. That's part of the reason why I knew the thing would make it clean across the country. I'm like, transmission ain't gonna be the problem. No way. Yeah, Smirks, I'm with you. Throw gear vendors on it to make it a 10-speed. It's actually not a bad idea. That had worked in Ford parts since 1972. That's cool, man. Hell yeah. All right. Yeah, exactly, Warder. Yeah, that's why I like that truck, dude. It's cool. It's a cool truck. Ah, Smirks, I love it too. Yeah, it's sick, dude. But anyway, let's see this crane getting installed here. Yeah, Signer, pretty much, dude. The gear lever is like up by the radio, dude. It's cool, man. You feel like an absolute Chad when you shift through the gears with that truck. It's just it's pretty awesome. The throw is so long on the damn shifter. Tess, have you heard about the new Z06? Oh, there we go. 10,000 kilos right there. Short arm people need not apply. Bravo, it feels like the reason why I like that truck so much is because it's all the benefits of having a truck that's only 20 years old, but that truck drives like it's from the 70s. I love it, man. I love it. It's just it drives like a truck from it drives like my 59. Oh yeah. I mean, if we're talking old Corvettes, guys, I always like. If we're talking old Corvettes, I thought the ZR1. The old ZR1 is amazing. This thing. The old Corvette ZR1 has a Mercury engine in it. Mercury boats, not Ford. It has quad cams in it. Yeah, very rare car. Very cool car. Yeah, old ZR1s. Read about these. Quad cams. Yep. Yeah, very cool. Alright, let's see what else we got here. $90 G's, Jim. The digital dash in them is cool, yeah. Nah, Synerd, that's not what a gear vendor's does. A gear vendor, Synerd, are you familiar with 2-speed rear ends? That's what a gear vendor's does. Same thing. It just takes the 5-speed and splits it over 10 gears. You still get the same gearing. I'll tell you guys about the Z06 Corvette. That engine, that LT6 motor. Dude, it's some aerospace engineering coming from Chevy. I'm actually pretty damn impressed. Use this for your spare tires solutions. Yeah. That would be cool, man. The Callaway C4. Yeah, Leroy, there you go. Yeah. Synerd base. That's what gear vendors stuff does. The gear vendors is basically a high-low transfer case with no front output shaft. That's exactly what it is. So I have a 5-speed. I could go 5 low, or I could go first low, first high, right? Then second low, second high, third low, third high, fourth low, fourth high, 5 low, 5 high. So you basically make a 10-speed transmission, just like a modern truck. Gear vendors are really cool. They're expensive, but they're cool. That's the VSS right there. Once again, so this umbilical arm is doing 2 things, guys. The first one is the vehicle stabilization system, the VSS. If you notice, this thing is kind of like it looks like a big claw, right? It's not actually a claw. What this thing is designed to do, if you look close at this thing, look, it's got hydraulics on it, right? But it's a big shock absorber in here. Seriously, like the shock absorber on a car. What this thing is designed to do is when they put Super Heavy on this thing, they're going to move this umbilical arm into place, and the 2 claw pieces are going to attach to Super Heavy. And if Super Heavy gets caught up in the wind, there's 2 dampers in these housings right here. The 2 dampers are actually going to prevent it from doing this. They're going to basically stabilize, vehicle stabilization system, right? And then they're going to put Starship on top of it, right? When they put Starship on top of it, you're going to need a fueling umbilical for Starship. See those two right there? Liquid oxygen, liquid methane, insulated fuel pipe. This umbilical is going to turn through here, and then it's going to come up, and you can already see the mount for the Starship umbilical right there. This is a two for one. It's two access arms that do. It's one access arm that does two things, and you can also see all the GN2 in the pneumatic systems that are going to be for purging tanks and stuff for Starships. See them all on the sides there? This is two things in one. And then check that out. There's your scavenging lines. See them up at the top? Scavenger lines. Actually, the scavenger lines could be they could be here as well. It's like the shock absorber. That's exactly what it is, Synerd. It's the same thing. I'm not sure, Panda Man. I don't know. I've never used the gear vendors. Yeah, Hellfish, it would be cool. That means in 5 high, we could go like 1500 RPM. It would really, 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 really help with fuel economy. I mean, the gear vendors ain't a bad idea. And I have the space under there, man. Let's be real. I have the space. There is tons of space underneath that truck. All right, Creeper. See you, buddy. Oh, man, look at that thing. All right, so check this out. You're looking at the bottom for this is the bottom for a Starship. You know how I know it's the bottom of the Starship? But we're looking at the inside. You have 6 engine mounts, right? 1, 2. There's a third one right here. 3, 4. There's 4, 5, and 6. These are for the sea level engines right here, and these ones out here are for the vacuum engines. Now, this line actually splits inside of this cone right here. So you're looking at, this is LOX, right? There's the LOX, and then there's the methane line. The methane line is the small ones on the side. Now, the main methane line comes through here on this, right? And then there's your fill and drain right there. Left. So this is the bottom of a Starship here. You're looking at the engine section. I wanted to get gear vendors for your truck. At 80, the truck sits at 2,500. Red line at 4,000. Oof. The methane must flow. I mean, Hellfish, look into if they make a ZF547 gear vendors. I don't see why they wouldn't. They probably do it for the diesel trucks, like what Sawyer is saying. Oh, there it is. But yeah, right now my main thing for Tough Enough is to get the fuel system all fixed, because neither of the filler doors work. I gotta fix that. I still fill it by jumping in the pickup bed and putting the line into the fuel tank. Yeah, we gotta fix that. They do? Yeah. Sorry, I love OBS Fords. You can do so many things with those. Like, don't get me wrong, I love my 59, but that truck is damn cool. They're super useful. And you know how I feel about useful trucks. Yeah, you can do both of them if you wanted to, Synerd. Guys, I found... I want to finish the Starship stuff because we have a bunch of videos to watch. I found a 4x4. There's a F-250 4x4 sitting in a junkyard in Blackstone. That's where I got the chrome lights from. I could pull the twin I-beam out the front. We could pull it. It's a little rusty. It's going to need a lot of maintenance. But we could pull them. It's got the twin I-beam 4x4. And then it's got the transfer case and the drive shaft. Everything's in it. It's complete, except for the headlights that I took off. Dude, it even has PTO. And the PTO is for a 5.8. So I could pull the PTO off and put PTO on my truck if I really wanted to. Yeah, it has all the... Dude, this thing has all the bells and whistles. It has the cab lights and stuff. Go get it right now. It's rusty, Ernok, but it's not that rusty. Here, I'll show you guys a picture of it real quick, but we do need to get back into space news. Here. Here's a picture of it. Dude, it's hooked up. It's an XLT, all power options, dude. 5.8. PTO, block heater. This thing's, dude, it's got everything. It's just a little bit rusty. This actually isn't bad for a New England truck. I mean, look at, considering this is a plow truck, and it's got Kragers on it. It's a pain to convert it, though. Is it? It's not, dude, it can't be that bad. You've looked into it, it sucks. Is it, though? I mean, it's all mechanical, right? It's got a mechanical transfer case. It can't be too bad. It can't be that bad. It can't be that bad. It can't be. The PTO, though, I'd take the PTO. The PTO is cool. So PTO is a hydraulic pump that you can attach to the engine. That would make it so we could have hydraulics on the truck. For what? Frick if I know. But PTO is cool. Brimo gonna get mad if you keep buying vehicles. No. I just need parts off this. And Brimo likes the truck, Blueland, so. Brimo likes the truck, so it doesn't matter. I'm off the hook, man. Nobody wanted me to get another vehicle. Until I used it as a front for proposing to my girlfriend, now fiance. Now it's totally cool. Oh, you can't sell that truck. Yeah, I know, I can't sell it, can I? Oh, that sucks, right? Like, oh no. Oh, you should have seen the Michigan patina that I found on the trucks there, Nog. That's not rusty, yeah. What's your next trick gonna be? Can't pull that more than once. Yeah, I don't know. Oh no! Anyway. Now, guys, you know what? This is gonna sound strange coming from me, and you guys are probably gonna think I'm full of crap. I don't need another car or truck for a little while. I'm good. I got everything I want. Seriously. I got a cool 2-door coupe. I have a full-sized American sedan. I have a really old classic short box truck, right? And then I have a heavy-duty towing truck. I have everything I need. I have the whole spectrum. I have a coupe, I have a sedan, I have basically the coupe equivalent to a truck, and then the towing, the sedan equivalent of a truck. I got everything I need. I'm good. Rip JDM. Yeah. Oh, of course, Panda Man. There's always stuff. You just need a nice trailer. Yep, we got all the food groups, man. I'm good to go. I don't need anything for a long time. Yep, we just need the trailer to tow them. That's right. Or just U-Haul it. That's the other thing. I need to put the trailer hitch. I need to put the towing package back in. You need this. Oh, we'll talk about that in a second. 5, actually, Mason. Yeah, I got 5. Alright, while we're here, we'll talk about it real quick. That's the first video. There's 3 Starship videos to watch today, but there is some crazy news coming from Ford. And if you're in the space crowd and you're like, oh great, he's going to talk about trucks again. Trust me, this is cool. You'll like this. Check this out. Ford Performance tweeted this. An all-electric F-100 Illuminator to show off that Ford is now selling EV conversion kits wholesale. They're called Illuminator engines. This is a wholesale electric vehicle kit that you can use to swap any truck. Anything. You can it's designed to bolt into old stuff. It's an EV conversion kit, dude. Look. It's a crate motor. Crate motor conversion kit for any truck, dude. Trucks equal boring. You don't need to put it in a truck, dude. But look at this thing. Look at the grill is blocked out. The grill's blocked. It doesn't do anything. That's an electric truck, man. That is cool. I like that a lot. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. I really like it a lot. I want one for the 59. I'm not even kidding. Dude, look at the interior of this thing. Bro, you gotta be kidding me. Pricing, could it go in an 83 Mustang? I'd assume if it's going to fit in a 79 F100, it should be able to fit in a Stang. How much is the kit? I actually haven't clicked on this. Let's see. Nope. Ford previews the future of electrified custom vehicles with the reveal of the all-electric F-100 Illuminator, a zero-tailpipe emissions demonstration truck powered by the Ford Performance Parts Illuminator electric crate motor. The IRS says it's a Lightning underneath. That's my guess, Mile Long. You're getting one for your F-100, no debate. There's a way that you can solve this problem, Tessa. I'm just putting it out there. Based on a Heritage 1978, that's not a 78, it's a 79. 78 had circle headlights. The F-100 Illuminator concept features all-wheel drive via two powerful electric... Holy shnikes. Oh, no. Lightning. It's not a Lightning, Mile. Oh, that's a Mach-E that's a Mach-E underneath. Oh. The twin electric traction motors drive the front and rear wheels, packing 480 horsepower and 600 foot-pounds of torque. Oh. Oh. The all-electric F-100 Illuminator concept, designed and created by Ford Performance, was built in collaboration with MLE race cars and sits on a custom chassis by the Roadster shop. It's painted in Avalanche Gray with Cherokee Copper and Brand X Customs, blah, 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 blah. It's fitted with 19 by 10 billet aluminum 3-piece wheels by Forge Line with Michelin Latitude 75, 45, 19. Part number M9000 Mach-E. The E-Crate motor is now available and authorized at Ford Parts warehouse dealers or online at Ford Performance Parts, retailing at $3,900. It is targeted for builders looking for a transverse-oriented powertrain to electrify a range of vehicles, from modern to vintage cars, trucks, and SUVs. Each aluminum E-Crate motor produces 281 horsepower and 317 foot-pounds. It's street legal in all 50 states. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, that's so legit. It probably doesn't include the batteries, though. Yeah. Yeah, probably, but still, though. I'm in danger. Literally, batteries not included, yeah. Dude, 3,900 though, man, that's not bad. Yeah, for the batteries, yeah, just go find a junk Tesla and use Tesla's batteries, man. That'd be so crazy. Oh, that's so damn cool. I mean, yeah, an EV conversion like that Rumble Belly, probably $3,900 for just the motor. Batteries not included, and then all the wiring and stuff, all the MFDs and the multifunction displays and stuff, and all the controls and everything. If you're gonna resto mod something right, yeah, I'd probably say you'd be in like 20 G's. Yeah, that's about right. You're about correct, dude. Yeah, I think you're right. That's really cool. And that truck looks sick. That 79 looks amazing. You could sell the engine and stuff. The engine ain't worth that much money, Kraken. But yeah. Yeah. If it's the Mach-E motors, dude. I mean, one thing, like, out of all the things that, you know, I mean, I'm not really that big of a fan of the Mach-E. I think it looks like a shoe. I hate cars that look like shoes. It's just a thing. I'm not getting into it. But I mean, dude, can you imagine? Okay, like, you take a truck like this and you put the motor and everything out in the back, right? And then you run wires in the frame rails and you put all the batteries in the engine bay. And then, yeah, I suppose you could put another transverse up front. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. This would be great with a long box truck, like Tough Enough. It would be really good. The reason why it'd be really good is because with a long box, you could put space in here for the batteries, right? And then still have a 6-foot box left over. And the truck's weight distribution would be cherry, man. It would be impossible to flip the thing. Oh, God damn it. I need to learn how to weld. Yeah, you could put batteries underneath the bed. You could put them in the frame rails. Like blue, yeah, you don't need to worry about a drive shaft. There's no drive shaft going through. Just put them between the frame rails underneath the cab and the bed. Oh, I need to learn how to weld. Yeah. Would you guys mind if I took some time off from the stream to learn how to do that? That would be really cool. The engine is only 200 pounds. The center of gravity, though, if you put the batteries high. Now, if you're running IRS, Leroy, like this, run an independent front, dude. Independent front stays low to the ground. Screw that, learn on stream. Why not learn how to weld on stream? I don't have a welder. That's not true. I have a welder, but it's not good enough to do chassis fabrication, man. It's a stick welder, no gas. Buy one then. I don't think I have the service for the power in there in my parents' garage, Sawyer, or else I would. I would love to, dude. I mean, buy a new garage. If you learn on stream, you can write off the welder. I know, but I can't write off money that I don't have, fellas. Like, you guys know good and well that I'm not one to sit here and ask for stuff. You know what I mean? If you guys wanted to see that content, you got to vote with your wallet, man. Like, that's the reality of that situation. Use the 240 from the dryer. EVPickups.com are the right idea. That's what Ford should have started with. Dude, EV pickups are genius. It's a really good idea.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Bro, just drop $1 million on a new house in a nice garage setup. All I said is vote with your wallet. You guys vote for the content that you want to see. And right now, everybody wants to see Kerbal and space news. So, it's up to you. It's up to you, bros. I'm not trying to raise anything, guys. If you want to see that content, you gotta support the stream. Like, that's it. I'm not gonna ask. Support the content that you want to see. Yeah, Jim, that's no problem. If you know how to weld, man, it shouldn't be an issue. Yeah. We only raise dongers here, nothing else. Nice meme. Alright, so this is the second footage coming from our buddies over at NSF. Let's see what else we got. Hey, Everest, what's going on? Because I'll be honest with you guys, if I can weld, if I knew how to weld correctly, all the stuff that I do in KSP, I could do in real life. 3D modeling, guys, is based off of metalwork. All of it. Lofting, extrusion, revolving. It's all based off of metalworking. It's all based off of machine shops because the first CAD systems were designed for machines. Yeah, Miller, I know what you mean. Elvis, that'd be funny. Yeah, we don't. Yeah, or no, I don't need that. Isn't welding bad for your eyes? Yeah, you need a welder. You need a welder. Yeah, safety squints, Jim. Safety squints. This is just a bunch of crane assembly footage. Not that that's a bad thing. Look at it. It's the same crane as the other one. These are two 11,000 Liebherr 11,000 cranes right there. Twins, Basil. Twins. Twins, Basil. Twins. All right, so if anybody here wants to learn about cranes, you notice that there's a bunch of things that can attach to this, right? So right here is where the mast can attach to. Actually, the mast attaches inside. The derrick can attach to this. A crane in the biggest configuration has three kind of booms on it, so to speak. You have your main boom, which is that big slot right there. That's the big boy. That's this stuff right here. Then there's a smaller one called the derrick. The derrick can control the angle of the boom. And then what controls the angle of the derrick is the mast. The mast is inside. It's a little lever that flips out of the top of the crane house right here. Yeah. Anything new with SLS? I'm not sure. I'd have to look. Yeah, there's three kind of control levers, I guess, for a crane. They're not called that. Like, if anybody's a crane operator watching the stream, they're going, no. And the types of cranes that SpaceX is using, the big one that said SpaceX on the side, the black and white one, that's called a lattice crane. It's a lattice crawler. So that crane right there, I mean, that's not really a crane. This is a service basket crane that's designed for windmill maintenance. That's a telescope. Well, that's actually not a telescoping crane. It's a lever crane. Anything that's new with SLS is whatever delay happens next. The same with James Webb. Yeah, I disagree, Tesla, but that's fine. It's the Panda crane. Yep. They did move the chopsticks. The chopsticks did pivot to one direction. A lettuce crane for lifting really big heads of lettuce. Yes, precisely. Elon Musk is a farmer now, just like Jeremy Clarkson. See over here? That's a telescoping crane. Telescoping crane can extend like a telescope. It's true. It looks like they added some pieces here. Wonder what those are about. They didn't buy a big Chungus, Jim. It's a Liebherr 11,000. The big one with the twin boom, with the power boom, that's an 11350. That's its bigger brother. The 11350 was disassembled. It's working on a bridge north of here in Corpus, I think, if I'm remembering right. It's moving bridge parts around. My guess is that the 11350 was overkill for stacking a Starship. They only needed the 11350 to build this. But the cool thing about the Liebherr cranes is that they're Legos, dude. As long as you buy the base kit, you can buy whatever parts you need and you can parts them together to make another crane. That's why that crane was all different colors. It was green, it was red, it was yellow, it was white. Because it's made out of 3 different cranes. You could buy 3 smaller cranes, right? And then buy the 11350 base. And then you can take parts off of all the other cranes and make a bigger crane. It's actually kind of cool. That's what we should call it. We should call the big crane tofu. The booster and the ship have 2 points for the arms to attach to it. The 2 lower things that were added are most likely for the secondary attachment points. Yep. Yeah, Thomas, they pivot up like this. I wonder if the new crane will go on top of the current tower and lift parts for the tower. I thought they were going to do that, Smirks, for the longest time, but yeah, I'm not sure. Fuel lines. See, guys, any lines with this white sleeves around it, that's fuel. Fuel lines. Liquid fuel. Or liquid oxygen. I'm not exactly sure what all that is for exactly. I know that the wider diameter pipe, there's pipes with two types of diameters. The wider diameter pipe is for liquid oxygen, and the smaller diameter pipe is for liquid methane. Now I know you don't need to look any further than Starship's fuel tanks. Starship's fuel tanks, if you look, it has a bigger oxygen tank than a bigger methane tank. Pretty straightforward stuff. So the bigger line is probably for oxygen because oxygen has a bigger tank. It's pretty easy, pretty straightforward. Forbidden cryogenic beverage. Yes, Dredd. Yeah, you can do that with trucks as well. You just make bigger trucks. Trucks are like Voltron. The more you hook up, the better it gets. Yep. Check this out, dudes. They're delivering the propellants. So, aside from these trucks saying liquid oxygen on the side, you can tell the placard 1073. 1073 is the code for liquid oxygen. That's the hauling code. Anybody that's a trucker knows what I'm talking about. You have to, trucks always, for firefighters, they have to indicate what kind of, what they have on it. That's what these diamond placards are for. These ones have 1073, 1073, corrosive oxidizer. Basically, there's different codes for different things that you're hauling, right? So 1073 is LOX. 1977 is nitrogen. 1202 is diesel fuel. And 1993 I think is diesel fuel. I forget. Yeah, you have to indicate what load you're carrying. So like if a firefighter, if this thing is on fire, right, and it's liquid oxygen, they know what the firemen know what they can use to put it out. Because if you're carrying diesel fuel, right? If you're indicated 1202, right? 1202 is diesel fuel. 1993 I think is gasoline. Is the code for Smashing Pumpkins 1979? Yes. 1066. Yep. 1203 is gasoline, as you Americans call it. Yeah. So, like, if you have 1202 and that truck's on fire, don't put water on it. Bad idea. Anybody know why? At the railway, we do a whole dangerous goods course every time you're recertified. Yeah. Yep. There's the indicators, and this is worldwide. It doesn't matter what country you're in. That's everywhere. Yeah, diesel fuel. Yeah, you put water on it, that's gonna make it worse. You're gonna actually oxidize the fire. Yeah, not a good idea. Yep. You don't do that. Exactly. It's the same as putting water on an oil pan fire. Yep, that'll just make it worse. It's called an emergency response guidebook. You can find it online. It has every placard number and all the stats for the substances. Yep. Gotta know what you're hauling, man. Miller, I don't even want to, and this goes for anybody that's a trucker or a firefighter. I don't want to know why or how those numbers came to be. A safety standard like that tells me that somebody along the lines said that, yeah, trucks need to indicate what they're carrying because someone got killed because there was no load indication. That's probably how that went down. Most safety regulations are written in blood. That's what I'm getting at, Staples, yeah. Is SpaceX planning on making their own LOX farm? Yeah, it's down the street, Jim. Kaboom, that's how. Yep. Mile, I keep thinking about, with trains, I keep thinking about that town that was at the bottom of the hill in California. I think it was Cajon Pass. There was a town that was at the bottom of a really steep hill, and like a fertilizer train was coming down the tracks and the brakes failed and it just went straight, and it went straight into a neighborhood, and that was the end of that. Yeah, and then it happened again a couple years later. It's great. Oh, I see it, Thomas. I think I drove by that curve when we went through Cajon Pass, Tessa. Cajon Pass is insane. I couldn't believe how steep that grade actually is. Like, I saw the trains going up it, dude. I wish I could have turned the camera and shown you guys the trains. Cajon Pass is insane, dude. It's really cool. It's a fun drive. It's like a roller coaster for a road. They're using perlite as an insulator. Yeah, I saw Seabass's SLS render. It's really good. Oh, that's cool. I love the armored up flatbed with the fifth wheel. Yo, that is a chonker of a motor. Look at that thing. What the frick are you gonna do with that? See how big that electric motor is? I think it's an electric motor, right? Am I looking at that correctly? Oh yeah. Maybe not. Maybe it's a turbine. Yeah, propane, I tell you what, propane is not good, man. I tell you what, boy. No, see, Jim, this looks to be some kind of turbine, because you have HVAC inlets here. It could be a turbine, or a motor. Yeah, it could be a fluid impeller. That's right, Harry. Yeah, you're not wrong there either. That could just be a pump. Yeah, Harry, I think you might be right, because if it's going to the propellant production site, yeah, it's just a big fuel pump. Frick. The fuel pump in my truck is about this big. Just literally smaller than the diameter of that axle, just saying. I'll tell you what the frick you can do with a turbine. Oh, geez, cooking. That sucks. Atlas Copco. I'm Googling. We're going to crash their site. We're not. Please don't do that. I'm just saying. It's a world-leading provider of industrial productivity solutions, serving customers in the UK for over a century. Well, I have it loaded up the UK one. Let's see, go to website. Oh, they make all kinds of industrial equipment, dudes. Compressed air and gas solutions, vacuum solutions, industrial tools, mobile air, pumps, power and light, and rental. Yeah, okay. Yep. That's a Dutch company, Atlas Copco, offshore stuff mainly. Yep. A dewatering pump. No. Blung. That was their customer service. They make all kinds of stuff. Yeah, all kinds of industrial equipment. Why is it always the Dutch every time? I still think the Dutch secretly want to take over the world. I'm pretty damn sure they tried it once. It's true. Yeah, it's maybe not so secret. That's the Swedes. The Swedes secretly, though. I'm onto you. I'm onto you, Swedes. Oh, don't touch me. I'm Swedish. Look, I just have meatballs and furniture. And fighter jets. Well, you know too much. Bro, game recognized game, man. I'm American. What do you want? Game recognized game, dog. Your furniture. Oh, your furniture. Oil? Where? Where? Trying to get the oil! It's true. There's an XKCD for it. Yep. Those Dutch people bought aluminum tubes! Do I have to tell you what the frick you can do with an aluminum tube? Aluminum! They bought some yellow cake. They bought some cake from the bakery. So this is a booster prototype that's on the test stand. This looks to be just the thrust structure, the lower bulkhead, one of the rings, and then the top bulkhead here. Actually, this looks more like the mid bulkhead, eh? Bring America, bring America. Coming again to save the melon farming day, yeah. Bought some yellow cake. I got the director of the CIA right here. I got it wrapped up in this special CIA napkin. Don't drop that stuff. Don't drop it. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. That's still funny, man. 20 years later, it's still funny. So it's a Starship Half Dome on there, huh? Oh, hey, guy. Okay, who owns the ex-Police Explorer in the parking lot? Yo, nice. Nice. Good eye, Tomas. You know what I'd do if I didn't have... Oh, wait a minute. You don't have an army. Guess that means you need to frick up. That's what I'd do if I didn't have an army. I would shut the frick up. Shut the frick up. You think I need that? Think I need that oil, man? Think I need that oil? You might have a bunch of nations, but you know, you're gonna be in Times Square selling fake hats. I know Gucci when I see it, man. I'm rich. It's still funny, man. It's still funny, man. I don't know what. You're gonna be in Times Square selling fake hats. No, Tesla, I haven't. Alright, we got one more new vid from NASA Spaceflight. This was posted very recently. Let's see. Oh, wait a minute. You don't have... Oh, it's so good, man. How accurate? How accurate is that? I mean, it's applicable both ways. I'm crying. And get the big ones. Frickin' ain't right. I love that man, Greg. Guy's my hero. Guy's my hero, dude. He's my freaking hero. Jam, did you see see over here? This chunker right there? That's propellant production, man. But come on, that was a classic. I got a sensible chuckle out of it. My explorer. That's a grid fin mount right there. So, okay, fellas, I noticed something a little bit interesting here. Take a look. And it could just be the piece that they're installing here. But there's a hoist point right there with the crane on the grid fin mount. Now, I'm pretty sure that's just this bearing piece that they're installing right here. Red rocks! Yeah, yeah! Well, why are you asking all these questions? What's going on with this? What's going on with that? No, let's focus on space, man. The United States of Space. Because I'm not stopping at the moon. The moon. Yes, I said it. The moon. Where is this from? It's a skit from the Chappelle Show a long time ago called Black Bush. It's really funny, man. You go back and look at it. Dude, it's like Dave Chappelle plays the president at the time if he was like a straight gangster. I'm trying to get that oil, man. Oh, what did you say anything about oil, man? You cooking? Whoosh, get out of here. Oh, man. So good. That's one of the funniest sketches on that show, dude. That's right up there with Charlie Murphy's True Hollywood Story, man. Just walked in. Bah! Caught him with the front. I kicked the crap out of him, man. And that was imprinted in that head of his for like a week. So funny, dude. Oh, man. What did the 5 fingers say to the face? Slap! That was cold-blooded. Bang, bang! All right, let's take a look at this piece in here. Jeez. So, all right, fellas. Okay, serious note. Look at how beefy this thing actually is, all right? So there's not just stainless steel skin right here. There's 3 layers of it, and it's welded in between. See that? You got an Oreo cookie of stainless steel welding right here. See that? It's like a double stuff right there. And judging by the strength of this piece, I mean, look at how thick that steel is. That comparatively to the guy, that's got to be at least freaking, well, let's think, like 15 centimeters. So 150 mil, something like that. 120, 130 mil. That's big. This should tell you a couple of things. So one, the grid fins are under tremendous load when they fly. Those hypersonic control surfaces, they need to break up the air in a certain way that allows, Super Heavy or Falcon 9, right, to be able to steer at like Mach 5, which is not an easy thing to do. Things that are going Mach 5 tend to just want to keep going in the direction that they're going Mach 5. So these control surfaces are under an insane amount of aerodynamic load. So this should tell you a couple of things. Now I know people think it's ridiculous that SpaceX, they're not going to catch it by the grid fins. But believe it or not, the grid fins are super freaking strong because of that aerodynamic load that they have to sustain. Look at how thick that freaking bracket is. The bracket's this big. And they're hoisting it in a very specific way. So once again, I know that Super Heavy is going to have hold points between the grid fins where that hopefully the chopsticks will find it. But this thing could also be held up by the grid fins. It's totally doable. The grid fins there's no way that they're not experiencing more load, the grid fin would be experiencing shear load because the grid fin is horizontal and the forces that are being imposed on it are pushing up this way. The aerodynamic forces are pushing this way. If the aerodynamic shear load is equivalent to the load that would be exerted, the shear load that would be exerted on the vehicle when it's hanging from the grid fins, if the aerodynamic shear load is higher, you can hang it from the grid fins. That's no problem. I mean, like I said, you needn't look no further than how chonky this bracket actually is. Holding this thing up by the grid fins is not an unrealistic thing. It can be done. I don't know if they're going to, because it might damage the grid fin, but it definitely could be done. They are going to attempt a first-time catch of the booster at the only launch site they have at the moment. Well, Jarvis, yes and no. There's a caveat to that, okay? So here, let me go over here. I want to show you. let's go back over here. And let's go back to the video that we saw before. So these chopsticks, right? If you look, they're turned. The chopsticks are on a central hinge. It's not like you have one hinge over here and one hinge over here, and the chopsticks go like this, right? The chopsticks actually are on the same central axis, so they're on one hinge. There's one dowel that goes through, and two of the chopsticks arms on the left are like this, and the chopstick arms on the right are like this, and they hinge on the same point. Now, what does that have to do with the pad, right? Like, what does that have? That has nothing to do with it. What are you talking about? Well, this thing can pivot left and right. It can pivot like this or like this, right? So even when they go to catch a booster, the booster, when it lands, will not be over the orbital launch pad. It won't be over it. It'll be to the left or to the right of it. And these things having such great reach, right? They can move left and they can move right. So catching the thing is relatively low risk. Don't get me wrong. If one flies too far and hits the pad, then I'm pretty sure that's going to cause some damage somewhere. But also at the same time, guys, you got to remember, this launch pad is designed to withstand a blast from the rocket engines because it's a launch pad. They're durable. They are durable. I'm not worried about the structures getting damaged, to be honest. It's all the stuff that's on the structures. So, now don't get me wrong. I'm pretty sure if Super Heavy crashed into this thing, one, that would be one hell of an explosion. That would be pretty epic to watch. Not epic in the fact that the thing crashed. That would suck. But yeah, it would be relatively low risk, believe it or not. I know it sounds strange, but the fact that this thing is not that bad to fix. There's only a couple of fuel lines going up to the quick disconnect, right? Comparatively to this thing, you don't want to damage that. That's the thing you don't want to screw up. This is the most complicated part right here. Now, why? What do you mean? Like, don't get me wrong. This is still complicated up here. But this is way more complicated. That orbital launch mount has 20 hold down points into it. 20 hold down points, and you have your pivoting point right there. You don't want to mess that up. That's the most important part. Losing the actual launch pad is the worst thing that can happen, okay? Ideally, you want your rocket to yeet off the launch pad and go somewhere else if it's failing, like what Astra's did. Speaking of that, Astra is launching this week. Did you cover the space tacos? Yes? The bracket is normally part of the grid fin itself to mount to the inner stage. So since B2.1 isn't getting any of that, they put the bracket alone in there. Yep, okay, cool. That's for sure an AT-AT in the back. I'd believe it. So they can pivot. So Jarvis, it's actually not going to be that risky. Now, don't get me wrong. You damage the chopsticks. You damage the way that you damage the ability to stack. But they have the cranes there too to be able to fix stuff quickly. Like, it's actually not too bad. Like, I'd take the risk. That's fine. If you catch the booster, that would be insane. Exactly. The LR 11,000, the Liebherr 11,000 is the backup. I mean, Blue, worst case scenario, if it rips the pad, it's going to damage some of the fixed service structure. All right. Now, don't get me wrong. It's going to damage it. It ain't going to collapse. No way. That thing is designed to have 30 Raptor engines burning right next to it for a pretty good period of time. I'm not concerned. Structurally, it'll be just fine. Okay, here. I'll give you guys another example. So, take a look at this bad boy.
10, 9, 8.
Watch
7,
Ares 1X.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition and liftoff of Ares 1X. Testing concepts for the future of new rocket design.
That didn't look too bad, right? It didn't look like too bad of a launch. That destroyed Pad 39B. Inoperable. Yeah, because that was the last launch from 39B before they refitted it for Constellation. That destroyed Pad 39B. Like, watch. If you look at it, the flames... So the flames, the rocket tilts off the pad. It's supposed to do that, don't worry. It tilts off the pad, and the SRB flames don't go down the hole that don't go down into the flame trench anymore. It's very clear to see that it's shooting flames into the fixed service structure and the rotating service structure because it tilted off the pad. You see this flame that comes out over here? It's not supposed to do that because the SRBs with the space shuttle go straight up, right? This thing slid off the pad. It slewed off the pad, but in the wrong direction. It slewed sideways instead of forward and back. That destroyed pad 39B. Inoperable. Right there. See those flames going into the fixed service structure? Now, I'm not sure if they showed a picture of the pad post liftoff, right? I'm pretty sure they didn't. But 39B doesn't look too bad, right? But it's inoperable. Yeah, that's the worst that's gonna happen right there. Oh, dude, I'm telling you, that broke the pad. I have that from guys that worked on Ares 1X. That thing destroyed the pad completely. Like, inoperable. Never gonna work again. Destroyed. And Elon's best part is no part philosophy. Apparently that launch table has the COPVs for starting the boost raptors in it because the boost raptors won't need to be restarted. Why carry the mass of the COPVs? Pretty much. Yeah, there you go, Hype. There's an NSF article about it too. Yep. Looking to see what they're doing there. Yep. So that's the carrier for the grid fin right there. Yeah, Mile. I mean, it kind of makes sense, dude. You want to offshore as much of it because with rockets, the mass is so ridiculously high demand, right? Like, you know, with airplanes and with cars, it pays to put like starter motors on cars, right? And with airplanes, you have an APU. It pays to carry that extra mass around so the airplane can kind of land anywhere and take off again, right? All you need is a flat surface. With rockets, due to the characteristic energy demands of putting something into low Earth orbit, especially something that big, it's kind of the reverse of that. But the strangest part about that is they want to make Starship work like an airplane. Economies of scale, right? Starship's flying once a day, right? There's economies of scale there, right? If SpaceX wants to do that, if they want to get their rocket to work more like an airplane, right? It's only working more like an airplane in principle. The actual engineering stuff that you need to get your rocket to look like an airplane, or get your rocket to work like an airplane, is actually the opposite of what you need to make an airplane like reliable and flyable all the time. They're offshooting systems instead of putting them on. So to get your rocket to fly, like a commercial airliner, right? You have to do like the opposite of the engineering that you need for a commercial airliner. You have to offshore parts. Don't put parts on. I'm pretty sure SpaceX learned that from Falcon 9, right? They learned that putting all the grid fins and the landing legs and all that stuff, putting that on there, that's just time on the ground. That's time away from flying the rocket, which is kind of strange. In that regard, Super Heavy is built like a gigantic ICBM. It's about as simple of a rocket as you can get to do the application. All the other systems are offshored onto the pad, right? Offshored, right? Do you reckon orbital would be 2022? Yes. Mm-hmm. What is the required standoff distance for the rocket for any GSE? It really depends. It depends, Jars. It depends on what you're doing. It depends on what the rocket's supposed to do. Rockets are all about application, okay? Super Heavy will make one mean hypersonic weapon. I mean, dude, can you imagine just Super Heavy as a ballistic missile? Whatever that thing hits, if it, like, it would never, I mean, I know, well, Starship's a weapon system. It's not, but whatever that thing hits is, if it does, that's gonna be a nice big old explosion. Hopefully, that never happens, ever. Ever. I mean, it's a big fuel air bomb, Jazzos. That's what it is. I don't want to see those things explode. I want to see that thing get caught. That thing, I mean, it would be insane. It's what I always say, man. It's easy to break things. It's easy to blow stuff up. Making destructive equipment is easy. That's easy. Making stuff that comes back in one piece is difficult. That's the hard part. That's the real, average engineering, fan versus average engineering enjoyer. Right? No, Barak, I'm not sure what that is. Not great news, but great views of the current aurores before they disappear. Oh, wow. That's pretty cool. There's 15 and 16. I think we all forget that that thing actually flew, which is... All right. This is gotta go to mountain. No, they are too often. Thomas, do we know why it has these squiggly lines? Oh, squiggly lines in my eye fluid. These look like they're in line with the engine mounts, dude, and it looks like it's kind of right near the point of attachment, and then there's definitely some reinforced bracket in there. And we know that this is a Starship aft bulkhead, correct? Stronger parts where the engine's attached. Yeah, but why? This big thing that this thing is attached to, we didn't know what this thing was for the longest time, but it's a dynamic load simulator. Basically a big hydraulic press. Yeah, it's a big hydraulic press. Welcome to the hydraulic press channel. I am Erky. This is Chatty. Hello. Today we're going to crash big Starship prototype in our big hydraulic press. So here we go. It's a Starship aft bulkhead with a booster aft skirt, which does have the 20 extra Raptor mounts. Interesting. 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 Thomas? Okay, I got an idea. Alright, hear me out. So, Booster 3 and Booster 4 have those COPVs on the outside, right? The COPVs are on the outside. Those are for restart capability, right? Amongst other things, right? So, we know that that thrust plate in the center on Booster 3 is a 9-engine configuration, right? And we know that newer boosters have a 13-engine configuration. Are they still... Let's see. It's a 13-engine. They're going for a 33-engine configuration. That would not mess with the spacing on the outer boosters. Well, it might. Maybe they're coming up with more efficient spacing so they can put the COPVs inside of the inner stage instead of on the outside. That would be my only guess. That would be my only guess, that they changed the spacing of the outer 20 Raptors, the RB Raptors, and they changed the spacing so they could put stuff in between them. But that's just a guess. I don't know. Because clearly, this being a Starship puck doesn't matter, right? TIG welds. Dante. Those are good welds, man. Because clearly they're on this dynamic test stand, they're using a Starship. They have a Starship aft bulkhead with super heavy reinforcement on the outside of it. So they're clearly testing something on the outside of super heavy. How are they going to stack Starship on top of the booster with the chopsticks? Just pick them up with it just the same way they catch them. Or, well, will catch them in the future. So this is the start. This is the start of the high bay. The big high bay, so SpaceX can mass produce these things. It looks like that's just a slab, a steel slab that they put in there to hold this whole thing together before they put the corner post in. Are the cranes touching on the top? No, it's just the picture. The wide bay. That's right. Yep, I'd be wearing helmets. Yep, I'd be wearing a helmet, especially with that floating around. Get hit in the face with one of those, they'll scoop your brains out with a soup ladle. Wear the hard hat.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Another interesting thing that I've noticed here, this has a crossbar in it, right? You have a crossbeam here and you have a crossbeam here. First of all, the crossbeams are going in different directions, but the center two don't have a crossbeam. And from what I can tell here, from the gussets that we have on this here, and the fact that that's there, there's going to be a corner piece right here, and then there's going to be another diagonal right there. It's interesting that these center ones don't have any, though. It's very clear that this part is built differently. It's most likely that these are built with stronger steel because they're going to have gantry cranes inside of the high bay. But you can see, I mean, you look at the difference in the beams right here. See that? Look at that one versus that one. I know it doesn't look like it's that much stronger. They look kind of the same. But look at these diagonals in here. See that? And the gusset and the plating in there. That thing is chunky, man. Also, the high bay didn't have the cross beams in the center either. Interesting. Look at what I got for your birthday present. Nice.
Discovery.
2 years from NR Wood, 24-month resub. Gracias, amigo. Super had a 65er in there too. Thanks, Super. It's interesting that they're not crossing them in the center, Thomas. This thing quite literally seems like two of the high bays just kind of sandwiched together. Bolt it up. So the crazy thing is that what these guys have to do, see, they're putting pilot dowels through there to get everything lined up. They're going to put pilot dowels through on one side. They're going to put the bolts through on the other side. And then you're not done. You're not done once you put the bolts through. Okay? So you pilot dowel the thing, you put the bolts through, but you don't snug them down. Not yet. You have to attach the top part first. So they'll put these in place for enough to keep this here, but they'll keep that kind of wobbly. And then when they put the slab on top of it, right? When you put the horizontal on top of it, and then they'll loosen those, they'll attach that and they'll loosen those bolts, and then when everything is nice and true, then they'll tighten everything down. See, they piloted them in, and now they're just kind of putting them tight for now. They're not going to torque them down. See how they didn't put all the bolts in? But they put 2 in, and it's enough to keep it straight. It's enough to keep it upright, and it's enough to where it's not going anywhere. But if you look at, like over here, look at all the bolts that are in there. They got to put a horizontal on top of this thing, and they got to line it up. So they need some play in this thing to make sure that this, like say the steel in the truck bent a little bit. It may have bent out of tolerance just a tiny bit. So you line up all the bolts, right? Get everything nice and snug, but enough to where it can still move. Then you put the top on, and then once everything is attached, you make sure everything is aligned, and then you tighten the whole thing down. It brings everything back into tolerance. I don't understand this cladding, honestly. Yeah, I don't know. It's probably some kind of isolator to absorb the wind loads. Pilot dowel is known as a spud in the field. There you go. Think they could cover them in solar panels and get some free power? On the top, yeah, sure. This thing's like putting together a big erector set, man. Or a Meccano if you're from England. It's just a big erector Meccano set. That's it. Exactly, Tessa. Touche. Yep. Yeah, Vasi, I'm not 100% on this. There's a reason why it's like that, but hell if I know what that reason is. Man, that is one hell of a gusset right there. Look at that thing. See that? That's heavy. I'm not sure how heavy it is, but it's heavy. Would there be any reason to weld the connections after they're bolted? No. How many bolts do you want? Yep. That's inch-thick steel. Inch-thick is 25 millimeter. It's chunky steel. So when is Super Heavy expected to launch? My guess is probably January or February. I think SpaceX will be ready by the end of the year, but I think, and this is just per Elon, what he said. He said on Twitter a little while ago that Starship could be ready as by November, December, but it's pending regulatory approval. Basically, SpaceX needs the FAA to finalize the programmatic environmental assessment, and which is the programmatic environmental assessment is an amendment to the original draft environmental assessment. The problem here is that the original DEA came out for Falcon 9. When the draft environmental assessment came through, it was for launching Falcon 9s from Boca Chica, not Starships. SpaceX scaled up operations, right? And the FAA has now redone the original draft environmental assessment, taking into account Starships launching, landing, production, etc., etc. When the programmatic environmental assessment, which is an amendment to the original draft environmental assessment, goes through, that's when SpaceX gets the green light. That could take a little while. There's a lot of information to look through, and that's what that meeting that we heard about the other day, where we had a bunch of people like, "Oh, it's a weapon system" and stuff, come in and voice their opinions. The launch pad isn't finished exactly, Henry, but it's close. I'd say the launch pad's probably about 70% done right now. Truck! Big boy beam. Oh, wow. That's... Damn, boy! He thick! That's a thick boy! Still don't know what the staircases are for, to be honest. EJ, there's the gray paint that we used in the Navy and a subframe coating under that. Very solid and rust inhibitive. Oh, yeah. Now that's an I-beam. That's not an I-beam. That's an I-beam. Bird. Drone. Drone bird. Oh. Hello. They do, heaviest. Yep, yep. Interesting times. Huh. Yes, nice. These are all the tile mounts, and then there's some kind of adhesive, not adhesive, there's some kind of thermal blanket between the stainless steel. It's a medium between the stainless steel and the tiles. I think people have said that it's aluminum cilia, which is, yeah, aluminum fiber blanket. So it's woven aluminum, which that's not a bad thermal blanket. Could be Nomex. Could be like Nomex, like the space shuttle, like a fire blanket. I don't know. Yes, Tessa. I said it could be, not it is, Signer. But yeah, sure. Good to know. See, the chopsticks are tilted to the right. They're pivoted to one side. Yeah, Thomas, look, there's a hydraulic attached to this. See that? That hydraulic's gonna... That would shock me how clean the shuttle was after its re-entry. Yeah. Yeah. There's the pulley for the whole thing. There's your fuel lines right there. The fuel lines for the arm. Oh, hey, guys. Okay. Yep. All right, bye. I wonder how fast the chopsticks can move. Probably pretty fast. I'd say as fast as an elevator. As fast as a high-speed elevator would probably be my guess. That is a big threaded rod. Wow. Wow. Yeah, worm. Yeah, the worm. Jeez, look at that thing. Does it have a lot of threads for more precise movement? So, yes and no. Precise movement is going to be something that you're going to want nuclear, but those worm gears are there for torque. You can create a lot of torque with a worm gear. Most car steering systems nowadays use a worm gear like that. It's called a rack and pinion. So they have a worm gear with a pinion on it, and that's what moves the tires, right? Because that's the strongest way to do it. A lot of them are electronically assisted now. At first it was hydraulically assisted. Now new cars it's electronic. But yeah, a threaded rod like that is, yeah, it creates a lot of torque. So they'll be able to move that dang thing back and forth. That's a really good way to do it. Catch booster using the two hooks on the inner stage. Move the actuators on top to line it up with these two small arms. Move arms into position, locking the booster from swaying. Yep. Sounds about right. That's what these are. These are securing things. Oh, hello. Bro, it's stationeers in real life. They have the main boom off of the or the main mast off of the crane. The derrick is just sitting with the hooks right there. They'll lower the derrick using the mast control soon. This red piece right here is the derrick. And the derrick is those pulleys would have been attached to the main boom. But you can see the main boom has been removed. See the pin? There's nothing in the pins right there. Not right now, Derek! And then the mast is vertical. See that? Yep, taking the power boom parts off. Derek! I'm enjoying a treat, Derek! Barak! I'm enjoying a treat, Barak! Yeah, see, there's your catch point right there. See that? Can you share? There's your umbilical attachment right there. Nuts. This is ridiculous, man. It looks like they have GSE pressurization lines hooked up to the autogenous pressurization lines, meaning that they're not using the umbilical to do any tests with this thing. You see how these hoses go off the side of the booster and then they go down? Those obviously aren't parts of it, but they're hooked up to the autogenous pressurization lines, which is interesting. These AP lines are a tap-off from the Raptor engines to make sure that the fuel tanks stay pressurized during ascent. Because when you the fuel tank pressure has to stay the same. But how do you keep fuel tank pressure staying the same when you're draining the fuel out of it? You got to pump gas into it. That's called ullage gases. Autogenous pressurization uses some of the gases that come out of here. Actually, it uses the hot gases from the stage combustion. It's not the gases that come out of here. It's the gases from the pre-burner. It's a tap off from the pre-burner that goes back up into the tanks to make you don't want to use the gases coming out of the rocket engine. The reason why is because, well, the gases coming out of the rocket engine are methane. It's methalox, right? It's the byproduct of combustion. You just want methane going back in here. Methane or oxygen going back into the tanks, going back into their respective tanks. So the tap off from the Raptors is probably before it. It might be off the pre-burner, but even the pre-burner is a mixture. So it's got to be pre-burner. But post-turbo pump. Rockets are hard. Tap off of the regenerative cooling channels because you don't want mixed gases. Yeah. Well, Rocket Guy, my question is they're not putting methane and liquid oxygen into the cooling channels on the Raptor, right? So, hi, by the way. Yeah, it's probably not going off the pre-burners because the pre-burner is a mixture. You don't want that. So, I would assume that they're putting... No. I was going to say, they're putting oxidizer or are they putting methane through the jackets on the rocket? They're not mixed. Say again, sorry, I missed that. Well, you're saying it's going to tap off of the cooling channels, right? They use both? Interesting. To cool the nozzle, they use both of those things, huh? What does it run? Like every other channel, one or the other? Dude, that's nuts. My brain just went, thermodynamics. Meh. Pretty sure they use CH4 for the throat and the nozzle, and the combustion chamber is oxidizer or vice versa. Interesting. Huh. Pressure wash the tank treads. gotta be pre-burner, post-turbo pump. That's the only way the tap's gonna work correctly so you don't get a mixture going back into the tank. Yeah. Just have a heat exchanger. Oh, this is a garbage truck. That's cool. That's cool. Yep, garbage trucks are neat. Trustle! Bye-bye. Nope. Nope. Okay, bye-bye. The second guy in the truck is operating the flippy dude. First guy is driving, I think. Brand new crane right there. Cool. All right. Most excellent. And once again, that footage is coming from our buddies over at NASA Spaceflight, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. Before you get to KSP, I'll have to swipe some pictures your way. I found my stash of Concorde prototype 001 pictures, and it turns out they're all in 4K. Nice. Do you think one new crane will be enough? They already have another 11,000 working around the site, Boxy, so they have 2 of them. So yeah, I think that's enough. Yes, one guy drives, the other guy gets out and aligns the operator's forks, and they usually rotate it daily or halfway. Yep. You need to do the air guitar with most excellent? Why do the air guitar? Little attitude. Little attitude. Just a little bit. What amp are you running? A Vox 8015 VT. Excellent! Concorde prototype number 1. Oh. Oh. Hello. Bonjour. Maptronics, I see you are a man of taste. I like that. Yeah, see this? Yeah. Hey, the ramp's down on one. Put both the ramps up. What's wrong with you? Hey, hello, Olympus. You've been there? You got some close-ups on hand? Yes. I actually kind of like this. That prototype droop snoot is really cool. I like the rounded front. I think that looks better. That's the prototype. That's serial number 1. Here. They switched the nose around later to look like that. But it does droop. The snoot does droop, so... Yeah. They changed the, yeah, see, there's this, the nose actually turns upright, and then windows actually come out of the top of the nose, and then the nose ends up looking like that. You can see the sections right here. So when the nose goes down, this window right here, it retracts. It goes this way. then the nose goes down, and then there's another set of windows behind it. Here. I love how it auto-populated droop snoot. The snoot. It droops. Nice. Ooh. Oh, yeah. See, there it is with the nose up. See the windows? They added more windows and they changed the nose around. I think that looks sleek, but that's what it looked like at the end. They ended up changing the nose around a little bit and putting more windows in. Those aren't the cockpit windows right there. The cockpit windows are behind it. There's two sets of windows because this stuff, those things are only there for aerodynamics. This thing, like I said, it retracts down and then the nose comes down. It's a boost protective droop snoot. Ask and you shall receive. Oh boy, pod racer engines. Is that a speed brake on the tail? It's just the rudder. There's no speed brake on this thing. The Concorde actually uses a similar wing design to the Space Shuttle, believe it or not, for the same reasons. They both don't fly very well low towards the ground. Yeah, low to the ground, these things fly like trash, just like the Space Shuttle. Yeah. That wing design, the armpit, I call it an armpit wing. In reality, it's a strake with a delta wing. This strake with a delta wing design is designed to create insane amounts of lift at low altitude. The reason is because this thing, you can't have flaps with a delta wing, right? You can't put flaps down to generate more lift. So you need a high angle of attack for this thing to be able to come in and land, right? It's part of the reason why the Concorde is so ridiculously high up off the ground comparatively to other planes. Yeah, these things both fly like, this and the Space Shuttle both fly like trash in the lower atmosphere. They fly terribly. They need the wing design. The wing is designed very similar to create vortexes above the wing to create insane amounts of lift at low speeds. It's the only way it could land. It can't land any other way. That's why the Concorde, when you see it coming in for a landing, right? Here, let me find a picture of one landing. It has to be at a crazy high angle of attack, so the landing gear need to be really, really long. This Gothic wing? I don't know. There's probably different names for it, dude. I call it it's just a strake with a delta wing. I call it the armpit. You see the nose actually pops down, and those windows, you can see the tippity tops of them. They retract down into the nose, and then the whole nose goes. Those are the actual windows. They needed big windows on the front so the pilots could see over the nose because, once again, you need a high angle of attack. If the nose didn't do that, the pilots would be looking up at the sky when they went into land. The pilots needed to be able to see the runway. That's why the nose goes whoop. And no margin for tail strikes? Of course there is. What are you talking about? It has a tail landing gear for that exact reason. Or a tail skid plate, I should say. Man, that thing is cool. Great design. Great design. Yep, the flight engineer constantly trimming out fuel. You can't just let the fuel drain. You have to constantly balance it or else Concorde will tumble. This guy is constantly watching the fuel and constantly balancing it between the fuel tanks. Yep. Yeah, if he doesn't, the plane will crash. Yeah, there they are. There they are, Alex. This is a nice, very nice. Why'd they stop flying it? It's too expensive. It uses military tech, dude. This Olympus, the 593 Olympus engine, is military grade. It's an Avro Vulcan engine that Snecma put a afterburner on. So it's got a French afterburner on a British engine, and it's expensive. Now, don't get me wrong, it's expensive. I hate that mentality. It's too expensive. Sure, it's too expensive. Is it double the price of a regular airliner? No. It's like what? Maybe 20, 30, 40% more expensive, but it moves it in a third of the time? It's penny pinching nonsense. Never got us anywhere. They were looking for an excuse for the damn thing to cancel it too. The funny thing is that the Concorde that crashed crashed because of nothing that had to do with the Concorde. It hit a piece of debris on the runway, and that's what caused it to crash, and then they used that as an excuse to get rid of it. Which is annoying. The fuel economy was pretty bad and very loud. You want to go across the Atlantic in 2 hours, or what? Like... Yeah, I came here. There's also that. Yeah, they regulated against it. Some real sore loser stuff, which kind of pisses me off, but... It's beast mode of a plane, though. Beast. Everything that's French is expensive. Picture quiz. What's Concorde? What's Tupolev? Huh? Oh. Bro, I've been on the flight deck of a Concorde at Intrepid. So that's the Concorde. That's not the Concorde. Yeah, that's a TU-144. Good attempt. Didn't end well. That's my incentive for you to come to France. Le Bourget is basically France's Intrepid. Yep. Do I fly? No, Sammy, I don't fly in real life, but I know how to. From Flight Simulator. I'll be honest, and you know what? That doesn't mean dick in this day and age, but I had pilots teach me. When Flight Simulator came out, I had real pilots come and teach me how to do it. I could do it. It's just I don't really feel like dropping however much money on a PPL. But I like how what I know is how the planes go together. I know what stuff does on the airplane, you know? Boat money, indeed. Yeah, like I could fly. It's not. I know exactly how to do it. How to do it. Like I even had the pilots on the stream that were watching me when we were flying around the Cessna in Flight Simulator. They're like, dude, if we ever go up, I'm just gonna give you the controls. You know what you're doing. I'm like, oh, all right. And that's from like commercial airline pilots, you know. So yeah, I mean, Sammy, I know what I'm doing at the yoke or the stick of an aircraft. Like don't get me wrong, like I could do it. I'm not going to, but I could. Yeah, exactly. Now I trust the guy if our pilots died and he stood up on the plane and was like, I played Microsoft Flight Simulator. Yeah, I wouldn't say that. Kind of bummed I didn't take pictures of the Concorde engines. Yeah, most commercial pilots are military trained. Yeah. Not the one that taught me. But yeah, dude, I know all about planes. We should crack into Flight Simulator again one of these days. I love the background. What the heck is this? It's my mission control, man. It's the EJSA mission control. It says it right at the top. Look, I got Wario here. It's great. I got that my flight director's playing Galaga. It's perfect. Who are all those people besides Elon? That's a good friend of mine that produces content for NASA spaceflight. That's Jim, former NASA administrator. This is Gary Lay. Gary Lay is the chief engineer for New Shepard. I put people on here that I think are that I think are cool. That's Tori Bruno, the guy that runs ULA, and over there with his hard hat. Peter Beck is over there, and then Rocket Guy is a
Go at throttle up.
a rocket scientist that plays KSP. It's just a cadre of different people. Where am I? You're never being in mission control. Serious. Yeah, that's never happening. All right, let's see what else we got. Yeah, Entropy, that's right. Like, I could fly a plane around, dude. The procedures? Nah. I would out myself very quickly as not a pilot trying to radio a tower.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Great, Bill. Primetime, baby. There you go. Besides, Microsoft's Aero model sucks. The big one, it's not even close.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Hey, Lev, 26137. Worst, it's not bad. What would you say is better? Like, I mean, it's pretty good. It uses blade element theory that's based off of the vertices of the plane. So that's actually not a bad way to do it. At least I think it is. I forget. Watching the first season of For All Mankind, you're missing 1,000 cigarette butts from your mission control. This is ISS mission control, Foz. It's not an Apollo era one, or else I would have cups of coffee and smokes everywhere. And I know that there was cups of coffee and smokes everywhere because I've talked to guys that were in mission control during the Apollo missions. I'm like, I actually asked Charlie Duke, who was the capsule commander during the Apollo 11 landing. I go, what did mission control smell like? He goes, coffee, cigarettes, and stress. And I'm like, all right. Okay. Do you ever miss Florida as the temps start to drop up there in Boston? Every winter. Every winter, Flask, yep. EJ, I had a company that developed flight simulators for commercial training. The Aero models in Microsoft suck. None of them are good. Comparatively to a training simulator, yeah. I mean, okay, let's put it like this. How much does that commercial training simulation software cost? How much does Flight Sim cost? You get what you pay for when it comes to simulation, am I right? Yeah, it sucks comparatively to a simulator, duh. You know, right? Like, you get what you pay for. How much is Flight Simulator for like the best version? It's like $100. How much is the commercial sim software? A couple $1,000? You know, like, it's all about relative, man. It's good enough to get the point across. At least I think. Like, not really. It's a different business model. If I use the same business model, my product would be the same. I don't really understand that one, but all right. I guess. I mean, I suppose. Side question. When do we see an IRL stream in the new Rivian truck? Yeah, I don't have that. The pricing would be the same. Worse, my question is, then why don't people do that? They're using blade element pink, if I'm remembering correctly. But I could be wrong. I don't know. What do you think about Starship? I love it. Chuck, I like all rockets. I'm not one of those guys that's going to make a big deal about SpaceX's rockets, even though I do. I make a big deal out of everybody's rockets, like here. Take a look at this. Let me find a picture. Like, I don't hate that. I love Starship and I love SLS. They're both amazing rockets in their own right. Ooh. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, I don't hate that. Yeah, I like that. Oh, yeah. I think Starship is a great idea. I think Starship is the way forward. Full reuse is the way forward. In the meantime, this will get the job done. I'm not going to complain if NASA wants to roll out basically our Apollo 2.0 that fixes all the problems from the original Apollo program. I'm good with that. Chuck, I like everything. We like everything here. I'm not biased towards one or the other. I love them all. I'm greedy, man. I'm greedy, bro. The launch escape system is a dud, Seacracken. There's no LES. It's just a hollow shell because there's no people on board. So, gotta fix my headset. That's why I did that. Trying to fix it. All right. Yeah, Chuck, what do you think about Starship? I think Starship is a great idea. I think that, honestly, if you want to overcome the problem, like if we want to be able to get a plane ticket into space and back, like you'd take like a flight from, New York to Los Angeles, the only thing that's going to inhibit that is the amount of money that you spend. For instance, look, Elon Musk is showing pretty dang well that you can mass produce spaceships. At least that's what he's working towards. It's doable. Of course it's doable. You got to throw a great deal of money at that problem, and you probably aren't going to get a good return on investment for a long period of time, right? That's why nobody does it. That's why nobody's tried doing it before. NASA tried it with the space shuttle, and because they didn't throw enough money at the problem, it didn't work. And when I say they didn't throw enough money at the problem, the shuttle program was constantly underfunded throughout its entire tenure. From development to the retirement, it was constantly underfunded. They were trying to pinch pennies, and then, yeah, it's hilarious to me, Chuck, that some dingbat politician can oh, well, we could do it for cheaper, not fully understanding that you need a certain amount of energy to get something into space. It's like they're trying to they try to make policy that goes against physics, which is hilarious to me. Oh, we can't use the Saturn V because it's too expensive. Okay. Oh, let's make the space shuttle. It'll be reusable, right? Like, okay, you're going to need a lot of that. You're going to need to put a lot of money at that problem. Oh, no. We can't do that. Can't do that. It has to be less expensive. You got to develop something. No. Cut the budget in half. It's fine. I think the next version of SLS is a bit better. I like Block 1B. Block 1B is what SLS should have been. Ooh, nice swirl ports. Swirl ports, Thomas. Yep. We have voted to lower the delta V required to reach low Earth orbit. It does seem like that's what happens floating from time to time. It's really kind of annoying. If we just use that money to modernize the Saturn V, we'd have a moon base right now. Yep. Operating rockets it evens out over time, guys. I always say this. If NASA wanted to mass produce SLS like Starships, the price of SLS would go down dramatically. But that's not after putting in a lot of money to start to mass produce them, right? The reason why SLS carries a big price tag, and it will carry a big price tag, is because it's designed to fly like 3, maybe 4 times a year total, right? That means your factory is going to have times where they're not building any rockets because they built everything that they need to. Now the factory just idles. Cost goes up. And you still have to pay to build the damn factory. What Elon Musk and what SpaceX are trying to do is mass produce. They're trying to make a lot of rockets. We're not trying to fly 4 times a year. We're trying to fly 4 times a week. So the cost will go down. But you still need to build a $1 billion factory no matter what. That's what I mean about nobody's willing to hurl money at this problem. They could have mass-produced space shuttles. They should have mass-produced space shuttles. If they did, the price would have gone down. I mean, probably would have paid more with lives, but that's another story. Have you seen a shuttle launch in person? I've seen 2 in person. One from Orlando and one up close. STS-116 and 117. Yep. Yep. I've seen every single orbiter that's still left. I've seen Discovery, Atlantis, Endeavour, and Enterprise. All of them. And parts of Challenger and Columbia. Yeah, man. Space nutcase, dude. I like everything. I don't care what it is. I like Saturn V, I like Space Shuttle, N1, Buran, Energia, whatever. Soyuz, sure, I'll take it all. I don't care. Chuck, ain't nobody gonna convince me right now that less rockets are better for space. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Yeah, that's really stupid. It's not incredibly short-sighted. The only way you're gonna get over this is economy of scale. All right, that's the only way it's gonna happen. Abandoned Dassault project. Huh. Yeah, that would have been cool. Why did we get rid of the shuttle? Sorry, I'm new to the space stuff. Finding a new interest. Oh, you came to the right place, man. Why did we get rid of it? Old. Killed a lot of people. We came up with a new plan. After Columbia happened, which, Chuck, if you want to go read about that, Columbia was a freak accident with the space shuttle, dude. It was just one of those things, man. Like, you could launch a shuttle 1,000 more times. Well, actually, statistically, if you want to be exact, you could launch the shuttle 270 more times and nothing like that would ever happen. 270 more times. Statistically. Like, that's from risk mitigation papers that were done by NASA at the conclusion of the shuttle program. Yes, I read all that because I'm a loser, all right? So, after Columbia, President Bush at the time decided to shift it, and he started something called the Vision for Space Exploration. VSE, or VSE for short, what that was designed to do is kind of pave out the roadmap over the next 30 years to go back to the moon and go back to Mars and basically kind of shift NASA's focus away from low Earth orbit. Now, don't get me wrong, that's still the plan, but that basically put the shuttle on a path towards retirement. And then, a little bit later, the guy after that canceled that, and then they retired the shuttle at the same time, and then we were stuck with nothing. Yeah, don't get me started on that one. It's very annoying. Not a high point in NASA's history, I will say. Tiles were never 100% reliable. They were good enough. The tiles were fine. GM... once they did the densification process in the early 80s, the tiles were fine. The tiles really never had a problem. Some of them needed to be re-injected over time, sure. The problem is not the tiles, it's the adhesive, the adhesion mechanism for the tiles. When you have aluminum, right, and then you have glue, and then you have the tile, well, once the glue sets, it's nice and solid, right? And then when the shuttle goes through re-entry, the aluminum frame of the shuttle heats up, and when it heats up, it expands, and that cracks the glue. All right? So the tiles that can crack the glue, so you had to find a way to kind of have the glue kind of expand. It's like more like a seam sealer on a car, right? It has to be able to expand and contract at the same rate as aluminum, or else the tile will pop off. It'll pop off like a suction cup, right? And then on top of that, when the shuttle came through re-entry and the aluminum kind of contracted, if the glue gets around that, right? If it's landing someplace with a humid atmosphere like in Florida, because the tiles on the shuttle are made out of silica fibers, right? So it's like sand almost. It's like cast sand, kind of, but not. It's silica tiles, so they're rocks. They're like a porous rock, like pumice almost, right? Just like sand would, it absorbs the humidity in the atmosphere, and water was a solvent to the glue. It was a solvent to that glue on the space shuttle. So they had to figure out a way around it. You know what the NASA engineers figured out to do? Paint the shuttle with Thompson's water seal. That's what they did to get around that problem. Tiles would pop off during landing, and they actually found ways over time to fix it. You know, some engineers at KSP said, go down to the hardware store, buy some deck sealer, and put that on the shuttle. And they put deck sealer on the glue, and that fixed the problem. You know, the shuttle really never... It could lose some tiles. Some tiles could pop off, but Problem is that the problem is not that the tiles were popping off during the flights. They were popping off in between flights. So some of them had to be re-injected with the adhesive, with the glue, right? And that's, if you look at a picture of the space shuttle, see if we can find a picture of the tiles up close here. We'll look at this picture of Discovery. You see some of those tiles have the little dot on them? Those are tiles that have flown at least 2 times into space, because that dot is the injection for the glue. They would re-inject the tile. That's a time-consuming process, because they never, the tiles worked, right? And like you said, they are good enough, but they never really solved that problem completely. They would have to be looked over after every flight. That was one of the problems there. SpaceX is trying to fix that problem. Hopefully they get it. Hey, human, what's going on? Well, the thing is unlikely is that the tiles don't conflate different parts of the thermal protection systems on the shuttle together. The shuttle has 4 components to its thermal protection system. First and foremost, and this is the most important part, see that gray nose cone?
Discovery, go at throttle.
See the wing leading edge? Hey, 10-month resub. It's been a while since I've been around. Time to resub. Thank you. Did the X-37B fix that issue? To an extent, yes, pretty much. See this gray? That's the part that's the most important. That part. You lose that, no more shuttle. Guess what part of Columbia lost? That. The tiles, once again, they fall off, but there's 2 types of tiles on the shuttle. A lot of people don't know that. There's 2. There's low heat resistant tiles and high heat resistant tiles. The high heat resistant tiles are the black tiles that are on the bottom of the shuttle. There's also low heat tiles as well, which were thinner and were painted a different color. See, there's low heat tiles around up here on the shuttle. They're the white tiles. They're, like I said, they're thinner because they don't need as much heat. The tiles on the top of the shuttle aren't going to absorb as much heat as the tiles on the bottom, right? And then, so you have the 2 different types of tiles. You have your reinforced carbon-carbon nose cone and wing leading edges, and then you have the Nomex fire blankets. These are the parts that the fire blankets here are on parts that would receive little to no heating. So you have 4 different parts. Now, don't get me wrong. Losing tiles, you can lose a couple of them in certain spots, like what happened on STS-27, right? It does happen. It did happen, but that was, it wasn't the tile's fault. The tile didn't pop off. When an SRB nose cone blows up next to the shuttle, yeah, it's going to cause some problems. You could lose a couple here and there. You cannot lose this. You lose that, shuttle's toast. You lose that, bye-bye. And unfortunately, that's what happened. It sucks. That's not cool. But yeah, this part right here, the gray parts, you lose that, you're not getting through. You can lose tiles, but it's not like that happened all the damn time. And that's why I say Columbia was a freak accident. To this day, it's a freak accident. It tipped, a piece of foam came off the tank and tipped the wing leading edge right here. It tipped the RCC. And they couldn't see it. They couldn't see it because it was on the bottom side. If that piece of foam debris goes 6 inches down, it misses the wing entirely. It misses it completely. And Columbia is sitting in a museum nowadays. Like, it was that close. It was just a freak accident, dude. Is the RCS monopropellant on the shuttle? No, bipropellant. Bipropellant hypergols. It uses monomethylhydrazine and nitrogen tetroxide. Same as Dragon. Same as Starliner, same as the Apollo CSM. They all use the same propellants. Heck, the shuttle's orbiter maneuvering engines and Orion's service propulsion system are literally the same engine. Yep, AJ-10-190s. And the AJ-10-190 is just a variation of the AJ-10 base model that was on the Apollo CSM. It's all the same engine design. Is it not Aerozine 50 and nitrogen tetroxide? No. Yeah, maybe Hellfish. So why did the foam fail? They had permeation on the spray-on foam insulation because Columbia STS-107 scrubbed a bunch of times. It scrubbed like 7 or 8 times. And the external tank was only designed to be tanked once, twice. It's not reusable. Why would you make it reusable? So they had a tank that they filled up with fuel, and then they let fuel out. And then they filled up with fuel again, and then they took the fuel out because it scrubbed. And then they filled it up again, took it out, scrubbed again, took it out, put the fuel in again. It was like 7 times. So tanking and detanking expanded and contracted the aluminum in the tank. Expanded and contracted, expanded and contracted, expanded and contracted. And that caused cavitation on the foam, which cracked it and caused it to come off. Pretty much, Dessa. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Lazarus, that's why I'll say to this day, Columbia was a freak accident. You could launch 270 more shuttles. That would never happen, ever. That problem wouldn't happen. I can't speak to other problems. I mean, there were these things with the shuttle where they were like, oh, this could happen. Whatever. Oh, the SRB O-rings could fail. Whatever, it's fine. No, not whatever, it's fine. That's what I mean. But they couldn't fix this stuff. They didn't have the money to fix these things. The shuttle could have been great. It could have been we could still be flying the dang things, or at least an upgraded version of it. But that's what happens when space exploration isn't a priority, you know? Has to stay a priority, at least with NASA. I thought foam fell off on pretty much every launch. To an extent, Pegster, yeah, but not like that. Yeah, Smirks, that's what SpaceX's do. A mechanical adhesion. So what are you going to make the bolt out of? You going to make it out of stainless steel? Because then it expands and contracts at different rates than the aluminum. Mechanical adhesion at tiles is a lot harder than you might think. How is Starship less vulnerable? It doesn't have spray-on foam insulation next to it, and the thermal protection system is very unlikely to get hit by things. It's not a problem if the whole tank is made out of stainless. Yeah, maybe they should have considered that. I don't know. How many engines would Falcon 9 need to lose before Crew Dragon would need to abort? I don't know. There's a wide variety of answers to that question. I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head. It really depends on when it aborts. Jam, I would say 2. Yeah, but once again, it depends. Where are you losing the engine? Yes, it's happened, Deadbringer. You can look up videos of it on YouTube. You can see the shuttle launching a bird flying right into the external tank and then it falls down and winner, chicken dinner, I guess. There's another theory about the foam that I heard once. The EPA threw a fit because supposedly the foam's manufacturing process used Freon, so they removed the Freon, and after that they started having more problems with it falling off. Could be. The SRB parachute mortar popped too early, Ryan. I thought it was made out of stainless. What are we talking about, Bizak? Are we talking about the shuttle or are we talking about Starship? The shuttle is not made out of stainless. Shuttle's made out of aluminum. It's happened, Blue, yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, Caveman, something like that I wouldn't be surprised, but I've never read anything like that, so I don't know. I thought it was made out of stainless, the Starship tiles. No, the Starship tiles are tough and unifibrous reinforced oxidation resistant carbon, or carbon composite, tough rock for short. It's like a Mark II version of shuttle tiles, Bizak, and those are on an alumina thermal blanket with a mechanical adhesion system, so some kind of clip that clips to the stainless steel. How bad was the damage on that flight? Google STS-27 tiles. You'll see. Didn't the shuttle have an emergency shutdown during ascent once? Yeah, it happened on STS-51F, on Challenger. On Challenger, one of the engines shut off and they had to abort to orbit. They had to do an ATO. And the reason why one of the RS-25s went off is because one of the sensors malfunctioned and gave an off nominal reading, and they shut it out. They shut it out of an abundance of caution. But these tiles are far easier and quicker to replace than the shuttle tiles. I mean, you could pop on mechanical tiles, yeah. If they didn't use the foam insulation on the ET, they'd had similar problems with ice falling off and hitting the orbiter. Yeah, you guys don't... Yeah, that's the problem. You don't want anything hitting those tiles. Nothing. You want air hitting them, and that's it. And even air hitting them at the right humidity can make them fall off. That's the problem. That's why they painted the shuttle with frickin' Thompson's water seal. The frame of the shuttle was painted with deck sealer. And then they glued the tiles on top of that because the deck sealer would keep the water away. Keep the, well, humidity, I should say. Could Starship lose a few tiles during re-entry and still make it? Depends on where you lost them, Laz. That's like saying, hey, could I lose a finger and still be able to write with a pencil? It depends on which finger you lose. Really, it depends. Please don't do anything to your hand. You need these. This is important. How bad was the damage on that flight? Yeah, once again, STS-27 tiles, if you Google image search it right now, you'll be able to see it. You can just see a visual representation. All right. Guys, it's almost 8 o'clock. I'm going to jump into KSP. Let's get these... I need to do a payload pallet system for the big SSTO. That's what we're going to engineer today. We got to work on the payload integration system for the large SSTO to get this thing operational. Big. What I'm going to do with the large SSTO is I'm actually going to try and see if I can borrow some concepts from the Space Shuttle's payload bay. So if you want to sit here and learn about how the shuttle's payload bay system works, right? How the active passive latching system and payload integration on the shuttle works. I'm going to try to basically do that in KSP, but a little bit more simplified because it's Kerbal. But long story short, I have a shuttle, right? That's basically it's basically the shuttle and the external tank and its boosters all combined into one vehicle and all liquid fuel, and it flies all the way up into space, right? And then it comes all the way back down. It's a big shuttle. And because it's